second level charter guy that was doing stuff, but yeah.
So he'd been with
for the most part,
2,000 experience points and leveled up.
Exactly. For the most part, what he was telling you was pretty much true. They got a script they follow, and
he stuck around charter for 6 months. That makes him next level.
Yeah, he got 2,000 experience points. Then he got a new cantrip and some tools.
Mm-hmm. Actually, got a computer as opposed to just a
phone,
a paper script that they just. It's like a choose your own adventure. You just
read the script,
and then it says, if they haven't cursed you out yet, do this. If they have, then
never curse out those guys because one, they're just doing their job. They don't have.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault. And two, if they get mad at you, they can actively fuck up your day. It's like being snippy with waitresses before you get your food.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid.
It's like, dude, you just know that food is going to be filled with whatever garbage they happen to have back there, which is probably substantial. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
On the other side of that, if you're ever talking to customer service at Bank of America, they're not allowed to hang up on you unless you curse.
Yes.
Really?
So I have made it a mission at times to see how long I could keep them on the phone, yelling and screaming and being a complete ass without ever using an improper word, just because I used to work there, so I know what they're allowed to do.
So I spent about 3 years gathering up my my petty bridling against the machine. I spent for all the junk. I get a ton of junk mail for some reason, and I would collect all the postage paid envelopes out of like all the credit card applications, stuff like that, and I would print out dick butt and send it back to them.
I remember catching you one time doing that.
You guys know what dick butt is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, but I caught you doing it once.
The other one I've heard is stuff it with as much of the other junk mail as you can to make it it
weighty.
Yeah, so that they have to pay the extra postage.
So for those of you who don't know, hold on a second.
There's going to be a dick butt sighting.
Like Les was saying?
That's dick butt.
I was not listening.
So I used to print this out. I still have it. And print it out and send it back to them. And I was just, and I love the ones, I especially like the ones that say, they put like printed on there as like this envelope is not to be used for any purpose but the purpose we sent it for. And we'll find you. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, you're going to track down the dick butter. That didn't come out the way I thought it would.
No, it didn't.
We've got him. We've got the dick butter. All these guys.
Mighty Fup.
What's happening, Matt?
How are you all, my fellow unwilling participants? Is it unwilling or unwitting? I think
unwilling.
Unwitting some weeks. Yeah.
Sometimes it's unwitting. Yeah.
I say both might be applicable, but
it depends on the day. Depends on the adventure.
We need to have a standard bearer carrying our mighty flag of Fup into battle.
We're gonna have to make a FUP flag. We've already got Bob's Burglary Barn bags, which is I'm sure we could make a Fellowship of
freaking awesome.
We really don't have enough NPCs in a party to soak up, random damage and hilarity. We need a torchbearer or a flag bearer.
Yeah.
Well, we've got the dwarf and we've got a Ruchelet.
There you go.
Didn't you used to have somebody walking along, Mercy or something like that?
Yeah,
Mercy.
I left her back in the town there. She's not really war material. We never really got into her. So I wrote a whole backstory for her, and we never got into it. So if we ever get back to that town, I will unleash Mercy.
Unleash Mercy.
I'm scared now.
Yeah, there you go. That's great.
There'll be heaven to pay.
There'll be heaven to pay.
So in Mike's campaign, we had to buy some equipment for breaking into a house in Karlsgard, and so we decided we were going to go to Bob's Burglary Barn to pick up rope and duct tape and gloves and grappling hooks, and somebody made the joke like
ski mask.
And ski mask. Like, it's obvious we're going to burgle someplace. Well, we got to go to the right place.
Did any of you guys ever watch the show Salem?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, it's irrelevant then if you haven't seen it. There's a character in Salem who is named Mercy. And initially, they keep her on a chain like a leash. She's got a a metal thing over her face like she's a dog. And the town priest trots her out, and she goes sort of on all fours through the town, and then she points, and whoever she points at is a witch, and they go and burn her. And through the course of the show, Mercy becomes a lot of other things, including a witch. But every time I hear him say he's got his companion Mercy, I picture this poor woman with a muzzle and a leash pointing out witches.
Well, if you can't trust somebody with a muzzle and a leash on, I mean, to point out witches, who can you trust?
Yeah, exactly. Mercy's who kept Flashheart alive when he was captured by the Frost Giants and
That's actually
tortured for a year.
that description of Mercy sounds a lot like this group of women in Wheel of Time Psychology or whatever series of books by Brian Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's these women.
I gave up around book 7.
Huh?
I gave up around book 7.
Yeah.
I realized the sand in the hourglass was sliding through my life faster than I can finish these books.
Did Robert Jordan as well. He died before he could finish them.
Yeah.
Like 2,000 pages. Nobody got time for 2,000 pages.
It's like reading Neil Stephenson books. I mean,
the next 2 books.
Yeah, Brandon Sanderson did a good job, as I understand, finishing it. But
Yeah.
I liked his other work, but I didn't finish The Wheel of Time.
Yeah, he did a great job. I thought.
But
I may have to dig
Mercy-
into those books because I haven't read most of those.
Mercy was an entertainer, and she taught Flashheart enough musical skills that he could pass as a bard to entertain the Frost Giant, so they didn't eat him on a nightly basis. Sort of a Dread Pirate Robert situation.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Well done, good work. I'll most likely kill you in the morning.
Yes,
Yep.
and eat you in the morning. That's part of the reason Flashheart's the way he is. He's not quite, he cracked, but he got his faith back.
He's which means he can be sometimes a bit disconcerting to people.
Yeah,
Are we ready to go?
and he's he's also on the borderline of gray area, which is not really a paladin thing.
Okay.
He's seen true evil, so he can let a lot of other stuff slide.
But he hasn't embraced it though.
Yeah.
So paladin status intact. All right. So let's get started. We got everybody here. You guys remember last time you finally got back to Citadel Drazen with Bardos newly rescued from the Baphomedians, and the body of Illendar. It was a positive welcome home. Everybody was glad to see you. You guys went and talked to the Solar of the Banner, who agreed to bring back Illendar, and so long as you guys agreed to perform this, there's no way around it. It's a quest. Iomade is trying to recover the broken pieces of Aerodin. The left hand of Aerodin is somewhere in the Underdark, where it is obscured from her eyes. She's given you a year and a day to find, retrieve, and bring back the left hand of Aerodin to Citadel Drazen and give it up over to the Solar, or she will take Illendar back to wherever he was when he was killed. So extra side quests there for you guys. Awesome. But in the meantime, you have a couple of things going on. One, you pretty sure you know the location of the Baphomedian headquarters, which is the Ivory Sanctum. You can see down here on the map. Arushale pretty much told you that's where their headquarters are. Bardos confirmed that, as far as he can tell, that is where he was kept when he was made prisoner by Xanthir Vang. Now you guys have done your research on Xanthir Vang, and he died close to 60 years ago, so you're not entirely sure how Xanthir Vang was able to take Bardos prisoner. However, Bardos did point out that the guy he knows as Xanthir Vang seemed to be, and quoting here, made of maggots. His face was a swirling, sort of moving cluster of what looked to be live worms of some kind, maggoty-looking worms. And indeed, when you guys were attacked on the way back through the creature from the gate, as you peered into the gate, you did see a small, large, really, comparative, about 2.5 inch long, white maggot-looking worm crawling on the floor of what looked to be some sort of cave from which this creature that tried to attack. Well, what the creature didn't so much try to attack you as it tried to get Bardos and for purposes unknown. You're not sure if it was trying to kill Bardos or if it was trying to retrieve Bardos because you guys didn't give it a chance. But there was one of those worms in that cave on the other side of the gate. But now Illendar is back. But before we go into anything, I sent out XP last week, and let's take a moment and talk about, many of you, I think everyone except Illendar, leveled up. So I want to talk to you a little bit about.
I actually leveled up too.
Did you level up too? All right, great. So everybody leveled up. Let's go around and talk about what each of you got on your new level. And let's start with Bardos. Bardos, you moved up to 8th level. What new powers and things did Bardos take?
I didn't open my character sheet. Can I?
Okay, we'll skip over Bardos. We'll come back to Bardos. We'll come back to you. Let's go to, how about Lothar? You got your character sheet open?
I do.
Perfect. All right.
And
So
I am now
to
9th level. That's
Yep.
correct. So I can raise dead, except I know fully well that my DM turns into a thick glasses bean counter a-hole when it comes to the spell component for that spell. While
Which
we
is,
don't track
if
spell
I
components
recall
for any other
correctly-
spells, we track spell components for that spell. Dick.
If I recall correctly, is a 5,000 gold piece diamond?
Yes, so I didn't memorize it, but I can do it, provided I rob a bank right beforehand or something. So,
Well, and I'll be honest with you, the 5,000 gold piece diamonds are hard to find.
yes, that's why you track that spell component and none other.
Well, I don't know if it's specifically why, but I mean, it probably has something to do with it.
But no, other than that, 5th level access to 5th level spells is the big thing this level. I
Very
get
cool.
another feat, in which case I chose quick channeling. So now I can channel as a move action,
Really? That's
gonna be
cool.
sweet.
which means I can channel and cast.
That's
Uh,
right.
That's a
as long
double
as I'm
heal.
as long as I'm standing still, that's a double heal. And I think that, and some skills and hit points, that's about it. I mean, it's a big level access to 5th spells, but other than that, there's not a whole lot else.
Very cool. Very cool. I think that channeling feat that's going to be pivotal in your day-to-day operations. That's going to be very interesting how you do that. So, did you get in? So, in the absence of a 5,000 gold piece diamond, is there a particular other secondary 5th level spell that you thought was going to be really cool that you'd be lugging around with you on a regular basis?
Yeah,
Breath
I
of
do.
Life?
I have Breath of Life. So if you want to look into what that is, Breath of Life actually can resurrect
Yep.
if you get to them quick enough.
I think it's within one round.
You get to them the next round. It's
Right.
basically raised dead without the 5,000
It's-
gold piece gem.
Exactly. So yes, I have that. It's locked and loaded. And then what was the other 5th level spell? Oh yeah, Dispel Evil.
Oh, Dispel Evil. That's a pretty solid one. That's a clutch spell in the right situation.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome, Lothar. Excellent choices, I have to think. So another 9th level guy would be Flashheart. Flashheart, 9th level is a big level for paladins. Or not. Matt, you there?
You're muted if you're trying to talk.
All right, let's come back to Matt. How about Fletcher? Fletcher, now I know because you and I have had some conversations that you had
Can
an
you hear me now?
interesting 9th level. Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Okay, well, go ahead and I'll come back.
Okay. So Dan, I know that Fletcher had an interesting 9th level because you and I talked a little bit about this.
Well, yeah, I had an interesting choice to make. 9th level isn't actually very big for barbarians. I didn't get much of any abilities. But I picked up a feat. I had debated feats left, right, and center for a while.
So tell them what feats you were thinking about.
Well, and I'm probably still going to take some of these, but point blank, Gordon, as you recommended before for me, and Mike has reiterated, and now Les too, is definitely on my list. But next level, I also become eligible for Pounce via Beast Totem, which is also a really nice one to pick up. So, but this time in the end, I ended up picking up Furious Focus. It was like one I meant to pick up ages ago that really does a number to improve my odds of hitting on my first attack anyway. I should never go through what I did, 4 weeks ago where I missed it. Right, that long. Hopefully that will never happen again.
Okay, the
So
die
what is-
roll just heard that. It's going to make sure it happens again.
Yeah.
So what does Furious Focus do? Like exactly?
It eliminates the penalty for power attack. which has
The first one.
3 points. So it's basically the equivalent of +3 to hit on my first attack every round.
Gotcha.
Right.
Very
Eliminate
good
the
choice.
penalty on the first attack.
Right.
Yep. Very cool.
The other thing is, I should mention quickly, because I know that came up once, is my hit points have gone like way up, but that's been mostly due to some really good rolling. I maxed out on this level. That was cool.
He did. He rolled back hit
So
points.
I'm up to 107 now. So if
So I think that
Heal
makes
me
you,
up, that's
Fletcher,
right.
you're our first 3-figure hit point garnerer, right? Does anybody else have over 100 hit points?
Oh, I do. Oh, wait, I have 0.
Divide by 2.
So you have 1
Or
now.
multiply by 2.
Wait, that was the other
He's
direction.
back.
Sorry, I got confused.
All right. Well, very cool. That's awesome. I think very good choices. I think made by Dan on Fletcher's there. So let's come back to Lothar. Lothar, you made it to 9th level. 9's a big level for everybody. I'm sure you have some really cool new paladin powers that you want to share with us.
Wow, Lothar multi-classed. Or do you mean flash art? Because
Oh, I'm sorry. Flash art is what I meant. Sorry. Lothar and Flash art
that's
are
going
right
to be
next to each
impressive.
other.
Lothar, I'm impressed with this level.
Sorry.
I am
Go on.
always confused when it comes to feats here, but so I have not chosen my feat yet, but I did chose my 9th level mercy. I was in between restorative and cursed. As you remember, I have the most useful feat I have up to, or mercy I have up to this point is the sickened one where I can unsicken you,
Right.
which I think is a healthy one. But this one, I decided to take cursed, so I can my lay on hands ability can also remove curse. The other one I can do is restorative, which basically heals ability damage, which I know we've had issues before where somebody's lost points of ability damage, but it seems to be usually temporary. But curse can be pretty painful.
That's a good point. Curses can
And
I think curses are underestimated from the ability to wreak
And I,
havoc.
yeah, I think we're reaching a level where, especially when you're dealing with maggot face over here, that these kind of things could come into play that I want to be ready for. Can anybody tell me where to look for the feats again? 'Cause I think I've gotten off track on my feats on the old paladin.
So if you mean like the list of feats,
Yeah, well, I know where the list of feats are, but how many feats I get? I'm looking at the old paladin chart, and I am not seeing.
you would have to sort of
I'll
run
find
through
it.
because everybody's
Look at
different.
it's not actually they're not Les. It's because it's not in the
Yes.
Yeah, it's on the
in the
advancement,
leveling
character
chart.
advancement.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah.
the so
But
I
he
have
gets spares for being like a human and stuff like that, right?
Well, that's just the beginning.
Yeah, and this is the beginning. But I'm just looking at I get the spells per day and all that. I also have to take I gotta get one whole new spell, so I get a second level spell, my first second level spell.
Ooh, that livens things up a bit.
Yeah.
So you got any ideas as to what you're going to take?
I have not decided yet. That's what I'm gonna get back to. One of the cool feats
Praise Dad.
I could take is unsanctioned knowledge. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't. What is
Yeah,
that?
it's the clerics. That's where I can clerics especially have a lot of great buffs and paladins don't, but I can take spells that I shouldn't have access to. So it might be useful, but
The
I
rest
think
of
I have a lot of
us call that
spellcasters. What's that?
The rest of us call that cheating.
Yeah, so it says pick. So unsanctioned knowledge is pick 1 first level, 1 second level, 1 third level, and 1 fourth level spell from either the Bard, Cleric, Inquisitor, or Oracle spell list, and then
Right.
add these to your Paladin spell lists as Paladin spells of the appropriate level. Once chosen, they can't be changed. So yeah, basically it gives you the opportunity to pick one of 4 spells when you have the ability to cast those spells.
I cast magic missile.
You could I don't know that it's on there.
That was a
That's
joke.
not-
Magic
That
missile
was
is
a
the first level
joke.
spell.
Yeah.
But it's
But
not.
it's
It
not
might
on
not
the
be
right
on
list.
there.
Unless
because it says
unless it's an inquisitor spell or something. Yeah, I have no idea.
Divine spells.
I was just yanking Les's chain. That was not a real.
Hold on, I'm
choice.
checking.
No, but if that was it, that would have been cool.
So it's not on the Bard list. Hold on, maybe it is on the Inquisitor list. Hold on.
You don't see many
What was that oracle
paladins
spell?
cast a magic missile.
What was that oracle spell that Ray used to use all the time?
Oh yeah, that was a good spell.
That's a
What
high
was
level
that?
spell. You're
That
talking
shared-
about
shared-
Blessing and Fervor.
Yeah.
Which one was it? It did
Blessing and
what?
Fervor. That's just a regular cleric.
I miss Ray's spider climb. She given us spider. We were basically
Yeah.
we're using all 4 surfaces all the time. I missed that.
So
Bard.
Magic
Do
Missile is not on either the Bard or the Inquisitor list. So no Magic Missiles for you, Flashheart.
All right. Well, I haven't been much of a spellcaster yet. Anyway, I have enough other things to do, but I'll figure it out.
All right, well, you got to pick. You got to when you get a feat. I'm very curious to know what you pick because I think it'll be interesting to find out.
Yes,
All right, so let's go back to well, how about you, Gatto? Gatto, you moved up to 8th level.
Gatto's 8th level.
Yeah.
He gained almost maximum hit points. He got 7 hit points last time. So he's all the way up to 58.
Nice.
A new rogue skill. He has here it is. Trap Spotter. I will be sending you notes every once in a while.
Okay.
If I just come in within 10 foot of a trap, I get an automatic perception check against it. Now,
automatic check.
And let me know if I find a trap.
All right, will do.
So I'll be sending you reminders.
Yeah, just you know what? Tell you what. Send me 20 d20s.
Okay.
And I'll just fire them off.
Would you believe that all of them are natural 20s?
No, I would not believe that.
Hey.
If I'm not giving poor Lothar a $5,000 gold piece gem, I'm certainly not giving you a score of natural 20s.
I think if we take any jobs, that's the basic money that we deal with anymore. We only work for 5,000 gold piece increments.
Yeah.
Of diamond increments.
No 6,000 diamonds. Only the 5.
Just want
Only
five.
the 5s. Only
Just
a 5 will
fives.
do. Any feats, Gatto? Or no feats at this level?
Nope.
All right. So let's go back to Bardos and Farina. So Bardos, you're 8th. Farina, you made it to 9th. What did you guys take?
So Bardos, you get a point, and I took Constitution, so my con actually gave me extra points.
Cool.
So Bardos is sitting good with hit points. Really, the only other thing going on at that level for a wizard is spells, and I took Shane's old awesome one, the Black Tentacles.
Oh, I could go my whole life without hearing Black Tentacles again.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Friday night was awesome.
Dimensional Anchor I picked too, so we can try to lock people down.
Yeah, when he casts Black Tentacles,
Interesting choice.
Just pop some popcorn and watch Les's veins pop out of his head.
Oh, I hate that spell. And not the reason. So tell him why. Because of Friday night, I had this whole. On our Friday night game, I had this whole battle plan set up. Doug and I were playing the bad guys. We had a platoon of Orogs and Hobgoblins, catapults, sorcerers, everything ready to go for these guys to try and infiltrate this place.
We were so far outgunned.
And damned if they didn't come down and cast Greater Black Tentacles on the whole area. Fucked up my entire plan. So then we Dispel Magic it, made it go away. The very next round, Greater Black Tentacles.
We had a sorcerer doing it, so they've got lots of spells.
We
Right.
Dispel Magicked that one. Guess what happened in the very next round? Greater Black Tentacles again.
2 rounds later, because something else happened the immediate round after.
What happened? What did I miss? What am I thinking?
The second time you dispelled it, he did something else the next round, and then Black Tentacles.
Was it the Chain Lightning
As it was
bullshit?
the chain lightning.
That's another one I don't like. But man, they took us to task. It was hard. I gave them 16 rounds to infiltrate the place. They did it in 10. It was brutal.
I almost got hurt.
You almost got hurt, yeah. Jackasses. All right, so very cool, Bardos. And so you took Pointed Con, Black Tentacles, and Dimensional Anchor. I think an interesting choice, especially with some of the otherworldly creatures that you guys have been meeting that might be very helpful to keep people from bebopping around. Dimensional Anchor, if I recall correctly, also works. It keeps people from teleporting, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Ray that pretty much stops any kind of movement like that.
Ray had that, but I was never able to pull it off at the right time. It was really difficult to use.
Well, hopefully in this campaign it'll be useful, I think, with what we're fighting.
It stops completely blocks any extra dimensional travel, stops astral projection, blink, dimension door, ethereal jaunt, etherealness, gate, maze, plane shift, shadow walk, teleport. Everything.
You have to do a range.
And tweet.
I think.
That's
Hooray.
going to be a bruiser. All right, excellent. Bartow's coming back. All right, so and last but not least, Farina, 9th level, big level for the Elven Huntress.
Yeah, I'm not done. The feats I'm all jacked up with the feats. So
Okay.
that's not done. I did get one spell and I think I'm going to take neutralize poison just because I don't think any of us can do that. And
Okay.
that's a good one. So I'm looking at that one. I get myself and Otto, we get an extra animal aspect. So that's pretty cool. So instead of just one, we both get 2.
So what does that mean? So that
The animal aspect can change and enhance yourself based on the different aspects of different animals. And instead of just taking one for each of us, which we do all the time, but I don't even really bring it up. I just shift it around.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can actually both get 2. So we can get it improved to, say, our dexterity and our strength, or our stealth and combat maneuver. You know?
Very cool.
Reflex. Yeah, it gives a lot of flexibility. So I'm not done. This stuff kicks my ass. I don't know how you guys have all the time to do this. I struggle. So,
You make time.
I struggle.
Yeah.
So have you got some choices that you're thinking about from a point of view of feats? Are you torn between 2, or are you still just searching?
I don't even know if I've got the right quantity. I've got regular feats, teamwork feats. The Otto's got feats. I don't know how many I'm supposed to have, how many I do have. It's a kind of a cluster. Guys.
I'm in your same boat here. I feel like I jacked it up somewhere along the way. I need a character sheet caddy.
Character sheet caddy.
Is a Mike Dowd or maybe Libby available to just review my character and build it properly?
Now, do you guys use the only sheet, or do you guys keep track of it via another way?
The what sheet?
The Excel sheet, the only sheet that a lot of us use?
I have, yeah. Well, I have them.
It's not always right, and it doesn't really make sense either. Like right now, I've got 7 feats listed under Otto, and it says choose 4. So I don't know where the hell I went off balance on that. Either would be 7 and an option, and blah, blah, blah. More to follow, not there tonight.
That's just as an example,
You guys want to
too.
email me, I can help.
Just as an example, it says, paladins don't get very many skills. It says through 3rd level, they have no caster level, but a 4th level higher, their cast level is equal to paladin level -3. So if that's the case, I'm 9. I would be a 6th level caster now, right?
Correct.
That's correct, yeah. From a point of view of dispel magics and stuff like that.
Okay.
Well, very cool. I'm very curious to see what ultimately Farina and Flashheart pick for their feats. But it sounds like most of you got some interesting new powers and spells, and it's going to change the face of things, I think. As
when do we
move out into back into the world? What was the question, Matt?
I said, when do I get angel wings? Isn't that one? Can I get angelic bond or something? I'm tired of this.
I don't know that that's actually a thing.
Stuff. Yeah,
You're thinking of Victoria Secret models.
Yeah.
I'm tired of walking around everywhere. I want to fly.
I'm gonna fly
I
around
believe I can fly. Yeah.
I don't know. Iomade, you're gonna have a chat with Iomade about that one. I don't know that she hands out angel wings just to anybody.
Yeah, but she should be looking at my markers that she's already piling up on her desk right now with with Illendar and stuff. She's like, yeah, let's clear some of these markers first before we talk about angel wings. All right.
Does anybody else on the team have teamwork feats? I mean, I know. I think my animal companion gets them when I do, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, it does.
But do any of you guys have them also?
I have not taken any yet.
I stayed away from because I didn't exactly know how to use them, so I didn't take them.
So teamwork feats are actually pretty interesting, and it's an area where not many of us have gone in the past. Usually, so Farina, I think in your case with having Otto there, teamwork feats could be really valuable because you already have a sort of built-in teamwork feat buddy. For those people who don't have animal companions or anybody that can use teamwork feats alongside you, you sort of have to get together with one of your fellow players and say, if you take this, I'll take this, and that kind of thing.
Right.
Right.
So that you can get the benefit of them.
Do they stack though, Les? Like for flanking, there's different flanking ones. Do they stack up?
They absolutely. Well, they stack from the point of view of like.
Some of them do.
Yeah, if you have a teamwork feat that enacts something when your buddy does something, and he or she has a teamwork feat that enacts when you do something, if there are ways to coordinate those things, yeah, absolutely, they'll stack.
Well, like I'm looking at coordinated shot, that's a flanking. So if teamwork ally flanks, it's a +2 on range attacks. But then there's also inflating fire, +2 on range attacks made versus a foe flanked by one of the allies with the speed. So essentially, it sounds like they're the same thing. I don't see the difference in the verbiage other than the order of the words. Do they stack? I mean, somehow I've ended up with both of them, and I'm not sure that's even intelligent. So I'm not sure they stack.
So what is it? What was the first one? Enfilading fire?
Yeah, that's one. And the other one that I wonder if it doesn't conflict with it is coordinated shot. Flanked.
Coordinated shot.
Not threatened, flanked.
When an ally with this feat threatens a foe, gain +1 or +2 if that ally is flanked. Yeah, so you do have that.
A threatened one. There's a threatened one less, and there's a flanked one. There's
right. I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's sort of more coordinated shot. It is different. It would not stack on the flanking thing. So yeah, having both of those might not.
Kind of ridiculous.
But the thing with enfilading fire is you have to have one other teamwork feat already because of the prereqs.
Right, but I already have like coordinated shot threatened. That would be a teamwork.
And hunters bypass some of those requirements too. They have special things with companions.
I do.
Oh, do they? Okay.
There's some things you didn't have to do.
But
well,
so my question though was if somebody else. I mean, it won't go on my sheet unless I've already met the prerequisites for it.
Right.
But like if somebody else was to take, some of these teamwork feats because I have them, there's already a team member.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have it with Otto, but I was just I wanted to point out that I think if other people were interested, they could take teamwork feats that would give them some pluses, because I would be the other team member that's already taking them.
Right.
Just throwing that out there.
Otto gets them automatically.
I get that, but I'm just saying other people that might want pluses. So anyway, I'm just I got to sort all this out. So
yeah, there's a bunch of these teamwork feats too.
Yeah, there are. I just don't know how many I'm supposed to have teamwork and how many I'm supposed to have normal, and I just got to look it all up again.
Well, teamwork, I mean, I don't know that there's any separate count for teamwork versus normal feats. You can take as many of either as you have access to.
Well, hunters are actually, that's what they get when they go up in classes. So, like, she has to take a teamwork feat this time.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Does, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So anyway, I got to sort that out. It's just what takes you guys 20 minutes to read takes me an hour and a half to read 4 times and talk myself into it, out of it, around it, and back around it, and out of it again. So,
well, don't feel like you can't email me or Mike or Don, and we can give you some advice on that kind of thing.
Thanks.
No, of course. That. All right. So very cool choices. I think these characters are shaping up very nicely. But we are back at Citadel Drazen. And Illendar is back now. He seemed very confused when his body first came back. First day that you guys are there, you've been there for like 2 or 3, maybe coming up on 4 days now since you guys returned from retrieving Bardos from the Fane. And the first day you would have seen Illendar. You probably wouldn't have seen Illendar at all. Except for maybe Bardos would have, and certainly Arushale. You guys will notice has been going to visit Illendar quite a bit and staying with him for long periods of time. On the second day, he would have come out, and you would have seen a very different, I want to say, or I don't know. Mike, jump in here. I think it would be a very different looking Illendar than you historically would have known him to be.
Is he wearing a beret?
Well, yeah, there's that too.
And a serape?
And the extra tats he's got now. So, you see him, Illendar typically tries and sometimes goes a little over the top to be friendly just because of his race. You wouldn't see as much of that, and what you saw of that, those of you even with no sense motive, would it'd be pretty easy to tell that it's kind of forced. It's
Les,
Mhm.
it's taxing.
detect evil.
Yeah.
He
Um,
and you radiate evil for some reason. We don't know
What?
why.
Gato slips out of the room right before I cast.
God, I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just see bags under the eyes, and
So, Mike, you're just saying you're more drow-like than you were before, or more hollowed.
Yeah. Kind of imagine someone who's exhausted. Have you ever seen someone who's exhausted, but they don't want to let on that they're exhausted?
You've been dead for like 2 weeks.
I didn't even say
so-
that.
He's back.
So, but yeah, you'd probably just see him in short stints for the first. Yeah, probably see much first day, second day. He'd come out maybe for meals to kind of, chat with you guys. But yeah, it'd be a few days before you'd see him with any regularity.
He looks kind of
Before
rough.
he'd become his annoying self again.
Yeah, exactly. He looks pretty rough. I mean, even it's getting to be late in the year. You guys are pretty far north, so the outside temperatures are getting a lot chillier at night, and you can see when he comes out. He's usually wrapped in robes. His face is lined, but where you really see it is sort of in the eyes. Whatever happened to him. The experience of having been dead for over a week was trying, and you guys sort of like ask him sometimes a little bit about like do you remember where you went, and where were you for that time, and that kind of stuff, and he really doesn't have a great answer to those questions. He's like I really don't know. But you can those of you who know Illendar well. Especially Bardos, you can tell that there's something happened to him, and he's still sort of his body may be recovering. And Lothar, you've been helping out that a lot, making sure that he's healthy and that his body is healing up. But yeah, there's a hoodedness behind his eyes, and occasionally at the dinners and meals that he comes out, you'll see him sort of looking off into the distance, and sometimes it takes a minute for you guys to get his attention back, and somebody's like, Illendar, what do you think? And he just doesn't respond. Lothar,
no, that's on purpose, actually. No, just kidding.
Yeah, he's just ignoring you. Lothar, you could tell everybody that he's from a point of view of hit points. He's healed, but he's still kind of hobbling around a little bit like an old man. I mean, he seems a little fragile's the wrong word. It's almost like he's on. It's all when he walks around. It's almost the effect is almost like he's on stilts a little bit. He's just a little bit off balance.
No shocked.
And everything every once in a while. So one thing Lothar will explain is that, look, I can heal the hit points. I can bring back his strength and his constitution and all those things, and bring him back to us from a point of view of he's whole and hale. But one thing that heal spells and cure light wounds do not do is they do not do cosmetic surgery. When you look, oftentimes he'll be wearing some very high-necked clothing, but every once in a while you'll see, when he wears something where his throat is where you can see it. You can see the claw scars across his neck where Jeronica literally tore out his throat, and he bled out. And every once in a while, you'll see him, sort of, almost unconsciously, his hand will go up and sort of rub at those scars a little bit, sort of unconsciously. He's not doing it. It's obviously not an affectation. He's just, every once in a while, you can see him sort of touch those scars. And it feels like that the weight of having been killed and gone and now back is sort of, it's sort of weighing on him. It's a new burden for him to bear in some ways. At least that's the way it looks.
I know Flashheart's an annoying optimist, but he thinks you look great for a dead guy.
Mealtime's like throwing elbows into, hey, dead man, how's it going?
What's up, man? You don't look a day over 5 days dead.
Mm-hmm.
You look fresher than a 3-day corpse.
And Illendar will join in the
Apparently, I'm a good. I've heard so many people say the only good drow is a dead drow. So apparently, I'm a good drow now.
I'm sure you fulfilled some sort of drowish prophecy to coming back from the dead. When we get down in the Underdark, we're going to find a scroll with your name on it. The promised one is returned.
He spends a lot of time in his rooms in the Citadel. He spends a lot of time with Bardos, his friend. And he spends a great deal of time with Arushale. And the rest of you can see that Illendar and Arushale have grown quite close. Not necessarily in a sexual way, which is frankly odd for a succubus to grow close to somebody in a non-sexual way. But you know, I was talking with somebody earlier about succubi, and basically, you know, they see. I mean, they don't feel affection in the traditional sense. You know, when they're able to lure somebody into their grasp, it's for two reasons. It's for food, and it's to despoil them. And that's why they gravitate sexually to certain kinds of people. Flashheart. Yeah, we were talking last time about how Flashheart is caviar to this, you know, to normally would be, you know, a paladin to drink down of Iomade, that would hit both things. But now that Arushale is trying to sort of, you know, walk a different path, you can see that both her and Illendar seem to be very careful about like touching each other. They don't, even though they spend a great deal of time together, and oftentimes they can be seen, you know, walking outside together or along the ramparts of the wall and talking, laughing, sometimes even. You know, it's very much it looks very much like the affection between colleagues or brother and sister, that kind of thing. There seems to be very little overt sexuality associated with it. But everybody, you can't help but notice that they do seem to be growing quite close. So you guys pass the days. Illendar, with each passing day, seems to get better. You know, and these things that gave you such concern on day 2 and day 3, by day 4, he seems to be much like his old self, to the point where you feel like and he even says he's going to try to call Storm back, because that's something he hasn't done since returning. And some of you may speculate that he may feel a little trepidatious about it. You're not entirely sure, but he seems confident. And you know, you could see him out in the courtyard of the Citadel one day in the morning, you know, doing those things that those of you who might be observing immediately recognize as the ritual that calls Storm back. What happens when you do that, Mike?
So one thing set this up. Bardos would be there. Like that, he's been good friends with Bardos, and a lot of you know that he kind of, if you remember the backstories, it was, I guess, Illendar that taught Bardos magic, but Bardos was so much smarter and just kind of took off and just flew with it, and so he's completely bypassed Illendar when it comes to that kind of stuff. So a lot of time he's been spending with Bardos. You see him working on magic stuff or talking, you know, if you hear him over dinner, they're talking about that type of thing. So when he summons her, you definitely see Bardos standing there kind of, you know, giving him some reassuring nods and, you know, whatever. The ritual probably take a little longer the first time, and he'd look a little strained. But the biggest difference you notice is when the summoning is done, Storm shows up, but it's not the size you're used to. She's before her body's was probably about 3 foot tall at the shoulder, so probably like a little larger than a cougar, something like that. And then we could enlarge her up to about the size where her body's about the size of a horse. This time she comes in about the size of a horse, so she comes in fairly large. And then with a nod from Bardo, you hear a spell cast, which you guys have heard before. You guys have got this on you before, enlarge. And at this point, you see Storm jump up to the size to where her body's about the size of an elephant.
Jeez.
She just gets
She-
monstrous.
She been roiding out in the astral plane.
She's been working out.
God, I love that dragon.
Oh, here we go.
It's gonna
Here
hurt
we go.
now.
Yeah. Let me mute my speaker here real quick.
But
Oh, it wasn't fast enough.
yeah, you see some probably confusion on Storm's face when she first shows up. Looks at her size, and she'd be confused with that. But then, yeah, you'd see her go over and nuzzle Illendar.
I'm going to look at her from a tactical standpoint. And so if she's elephant size, how many can she carry into a battle now?
Large size, she can carry probably 2. Huge. It's just a matter of physically how many can fit on her.
Elephant, probably 5 or 6 of us, right?
Yeah, you guys might have a dive bomb now. A dive bomb.
What is
or
that?
or what do they call it in that movie? Air cav.
Yes.
There you go.
Air cav.
Everybody lines up. So I mean,
What was that, Gatto?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I'm rolling my
His trap
perception
finding.
checks. I'm going to jot them down and give them to him in an email.
okay,
Oh,
perfect.
gotcha.
Who did you send those potions to, by the way?
To Illendar.
Okay.
Do we need to cash out some stuff over here? Or we got a bunch of stuff, didn't we, in the mail? Amazon came while we were gone. I forgot.
Yeah, we got to
That's-
distribute
yes.
our delivery.
We got to talk about that
That-
delivery.
You
I
got
don't
your
think there's-
delivery.
Yeah. Everybody all geared up for that? I don't think there was anything I needed because I'm the most geared, I think, of the party.
I had it written down. Of course, I don't have
in
it.
this one.
You have that written down, right? What those were?
Yeah, I think the characters already have them. I think Gatto got something. Lothar.
Farina's
and-
got a +1 holy,
Oh yeah, Farina. Yeah, Farina got the
+1 holy.
the super
Is that
bow.
what it is? +1 holy.
+1 holy. Yeah.
I got a cloak.
Yep.
Sneaky.
Elven kind.
No, resistance.
Resistance.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
What was the thing I got called?
Lothar, the phylactery of channeling.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me.
I got an artisanal honey mead from Canebras. It's just perfect. It's made in this little local place. You probably haven't heard of it, but it's making this little local place, handcrafted, just the slightest flavor of kobold acorns.
Phylactery of positive channeling is what you got. This is a item allows channelers of positive energy to increase the amount of damage dealt to undead by +2d6. It also increases the amount of damage healed by living creatures by 2d6.
That's awesome.
Okay, I got it.
So an extra 2d6 on that, which is very nice. Whoa, that was loud.
I had built that in, just making sure I had it right.
So Les Ohm is, I assume we're just dropping him now. He's going back to the dwarves.
Yeah, I'm assuming. I mean, ultimately, it's up to you. But I mean, I'm assuming that Ohm, who was a trusted captain in General Harlakar's sort of administrative apparatus, and that in the dwarven army that continues to hold Dresden, my assumption is that he would, after returning, he would resume his post. I think one of his first initial kind of things that he would take on to do is to consult with General Harlakar about Arushale, because frankly, having a demon walking around in Citadel Drazen is going to draw, well, more than a few raised eyebrows, and frankly, probably the ire of whatever crusaders and dwarves who have fought against demons for the last however many years, and probably have seen comrades die at the hands of demons or taken into the Worldwound. She's not going to be the most popular person on campus right away. But I think Ohm would go to Harlakar and say, look, I know what you're thinking, but there's a story here that you need to hear, and that you would probably try to convince Harlakar to, at least from the point of view of the dwarves, to ensure that no one under General Harlakar, any in the dwarven contingent, would harass or bother Arushale in any way. I assume that's the kind of thing that he would try to do, at least initially.
Yeah. I mean, he's seen nothing to doubt her sincerity, so yeah, he would definitely be behind her.
Before we
Unless so different.
bid adieu to Ohm, is Ivory Sanctum, is that something that we think a party can take, or we're going to need another force to put it down, like we did for Citadel Drazen? Do we have any intel on that?
Was that a question directed at me?
Yes.
Okay, so Arushale. So what she would tell you is that place, that Ivory Sanctum place, is the headquarters of the Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth, which are Baphometians, which you guys have run into quite a bit. These guys, and but that is their headquarters in the Worldwound. Now that the location is known, it's possible that a military expedition there could be mounted. But frankly, it's almost a week away across some of the hardest territory in the Worldwound. An expedition like that of any substantive size is going to get noticed and probably harried, whereas a small group like yourselves could probably approach at least relatively unknown.
From our dragon.
Yeah, exactly. You could air cav in with.
We're missing the soundbite.
You guys, if you guys are thinking about this whole air cav thing, you might want to spend a couple of days with the leather workers at Citadel.
Well, actually,
trying to put together some sort of like leather kind of
harnesses. Yeah,
I was going to do that, and I was going to talk to you last. I forgot about getting like a dual seat. Basically, have leather workers do some kind of basically a horse saddle, but modify it to be 2-seat.
Okay.
And fit that to her. But on the flip side, one of the things I said earlier, after Illendar's back, he's going to get almost annoyingly grateful to you guys.
I'm annoyed.
Yeah. Sweet, we got rid of the DM. Artifacts for everyone now. but no, he's going to be annoyingly grateful to you guys for what, bringing him back. And then Les took off. One of the things I was going to say is he remembers that before we took off and we kind of hijacked our normal plans to get Bardos, he remembers that Lothar had a place that he wanted to go. And he's it was say, hey, you've done more than, your fair share.
Agreed.
If you'd like, I think we should go take care of. Wasn't there some kind of?
It was Delamere's tomb, I think,
or something.
Or a library.
I thought it was a tomb, but it could be the library.
Well, the sort of the backstory on it is that Lothar had a mentor that he came to the original city with when all hell broke loose. And he's been told that his mentor is still alive, but that he is held, which he assumes, of course, to mean that he's been captured and is somewhere in one of these. So it could be the Ivory Sanctum, it could be any number of things. So it's sort of one of those deals where he keeps an eye out wherever he goes, but at this point we have the Baphometians at the Ivory Sanctum, and we also have 1 year and 1 day, which I assume is not a secret that you've been told about it, to go complete this quest in the Underdark for the left hand of somebody or other. And so the sorties that we're doing out into these areas, he continues to look for his mentor.
Okay.
But he has no additional information at this point as to direction or any of that.
Okay. I had thought that there was one that was somehow linked to your deity or you had one place that you wanted to go for some particular reason. My memory's kind of foggy, so.
Chuck Lothar can get Scry now as a 5th level spell, and he can actually look for him.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so, I mean, that's sort of something sideline that he's keeping an eye on.
Okay.
But there's obviously a bigger picture thing going on here.
Yeah, I would say from a flash art standpoint, Baphometians would be at the top of his wish list to grind it into the dust, but I will do whatever the party wants to do. And make sure we leave enough time to get to the Underdark and back.
Yeah, and really, in keeping with the backstory, his mentor would not have wanted him to circumvent sort of the necessary missions that we're doing to look for him anyway. So,
okay. Like I apparently incorrectly remembered that there was some place that Lothar wanted to go, and then we decided to go after Bardos whenever that happened. So
somebody in a nightclub.
That Lothar wasn't getting.
It's the sounds of the town of Dresden.
Ah, okay. Got it. Yes, I could feel it. I could feel it right now. I can sense myself there.
So at this point, our next move is either to go after the Baphometians, which I know is the Paladin's preferred move, or
I'll do whatever you want to do. I would just say that's what from Flash Art standpoint, that would be top of the charts.
Right, of course. and or start the Underdark thing since there's a time limit on it. But really, you're the only one who would know where access to the Underdark is, or in theory, you'd know.
Basically, Illendar would say he knows. Obviously, he knows the Underdark fairly well. Now, where they're talking about, like this library that they're talking about, he's heard of it, knows of it, but doesn't know where it's at. And he'd probably, hey, Les, Urushalei is fairly smart, right?
Yeah, she is. Absolutely. She's
so
no question about it.
She would be some, especially if she's going to stay in the Citadel, she could be someone that we could have researching this stuff while we're gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you've got a couple of days too. I mean, you'd be able to find out some information. Probably not a lot of details, but but you could. Well, honestly, if you spend some time, the Citadel Drazen did have at one time a pretty substantive library. One of the books found there was the Stag Queen's Bride, which was an Aristotelian book. Which is of interest to Lothar, especially when it comes to Delamere. We'll talk about that in a minute. But as part of that, they've some of the scholars that have come here from Canebris and some of that have been trying to put that back together. And if you spend a day kind of like noodling around in the library, you will find something interesting. It is a very old map of what purports to be the Underdark.
Ooh.
So does it match with the parts that I do know?
You do. You do know some of these places. As you can see in some cases, you can see that there is. The first thing you begin is looking at the Long Chasm. You have heard of. Absolutely, Menzo Baranzan, which is where you're from, is listed here. But also something that you see almost as a sideline is Graven Hollow. Graven Hollow is the place that the Solar of the Banner told you to seek first as the place the librarians at Graven Hollow will know where the Left Hand of Paradin is. Now, as to how you get in there, I mean, you have a general idea. You came out of, I mean, Illendar, you came out from under the Underdark pretty early in life, right?
Yeah, I was barely 100. So
just a mere child in these things. I mean, you would know. You're not entirely sure how this map coordinates with because this is strictly an Underdark map. This does not show anything on the surface. Now, how this coordinates, you would have to probably take some time, get a map of Galarian, and do some sort of like thing, and try to work on trying to figure out where the entrances might be based on what you know and
where we came out to do our raid.
Yeah, what you can do to find out. It's doable, probably not in the time that you have before you want to leave.
Right. So if I could get maybe Urushalei or other people started, then. I mean, Illendar will say, I appreciate you guys, taking this task on to get me back. But since we've got a year and a day, I say we take care of the immediate problems close to Citadel Dresden. And then once we've got this area, as in control as we can get it, then we'll look at going to do this. I mean,
that sounds good. And Urushalei is happy to do it.
Flashheart's going to be, you know what? I want those guys dead. Illendar will be right behind him. I agree.
And Urushalei would be very much, about it. She's like, yeah, absolutely. I will see what, I will plumb the depths of this library, while you guys are gone. So that being the case, I mentioned earlier about the book, The Stag King's Bride, and we'll just go back and talk about that real quick. So The Stag King's Bride was a very rare book, and it's in your possession now, Lothar. It is essentially a book about it's from an Aristotelian point of view, it's almost heretical. written by its account of a priestess of Erastil named Delamere, who was from this region, Sarcosis, before the Worldwound opened up. Who taught that cities were among the greatest blights humanity had ever conceived, that any settlement of more than 53 people was inherently evil. According to Delamere's somewhat bizarre and almost incomprehensible teachings, the 54th person in any settlement always had an unusually high chance to be a traitor to the family, based in part by the theory that a family of 5 lies at the center of 6 families of 5, grandparents, cousins, nieces, nephews, that kind of thing. And the 54th person, therefore, will be from outside of the family and thus a danger. This Delamere's teachings were controversial, but in the smaller towns of Sarcoris, they gained enough popularity that when she died, she was buried in a sizable tomb. And since that time, the families of those who follow her teachings were each assured a place in a large tomb as well. In the final page of the book, the tomb was located in a place called the Weeping Hills, a couple of days' travel south of Dresden. The book that you have has some writing in it, which in ink that says, Delamere has the right of it. Dresden is too big for its own good. A trip to her tomb to search for more of her teachings may be in order. Now, what you were originally told is that there was a priest here over time that somehow had managed to sort of avoid the getting captured, by various people in Citadel Dresden, or had somehow worked out some sort of deal with them, but was able to pass back and forth from Dresden into what you suspect is the tomb. It was a priest of Erastil called Jesker Helton. Give me a knowledge check, or actually either a knowledge check or knowledge religion or diplomacy check, whichever one of yours is better, Lothar.
28.
28. All right. So you sort of ask around and you do a little digging, and you do find out, mostly among the people that were freed prisoners, that you learn a couple of things. That this is maybe just a few years back, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, that this Jesker actually was coming back and forth from Citadel Dresden and out in the Worldwound. You're not entirely sure why he was given such a pass, especially as a priest of Erastil, but he was a young, relatively handsome priest, had been a crusader, but somehow had either turned his back on that or somehow had made a deal with the people at Citadel Dresden. Maybe he was providing healing services, nobody really knows. But that he was here. Now this is maybe 3.5, 4 years. The one thing that they remembered very specifically was that he had lost. There was a period where the biggest news that they'd heard of this guy, and the reason he became any attention to them all, is that he had lost a precious heirloom, his mother's wedding ring, and that several of the people here had been sort of tasked to help him look for it, and some of the prisoners were at one time had been sort of press ganged into a half-assed search party that searched the grounds and various kinds of things. But it was, as far as you know, it was never found. There were. You're not entirely sure why here, but you did hear that this Jesker had gone somewhere around Delamere's and started up a Church of Erastil, and had talked about building a temple there, which supposedly he had done. Some of the people that you talked to who had known Jesker, who were also fellow Erastil worshippers, said that before he disappeared, he was in and out of, like I said, he was in and out of Dresden, and initially he had sort of ministered to them as fellow Erastil worshippers, but at the end they described to you as feeling very, like, weirdly uncomfortable around him. He had become, a little bit wild-eyed. Sometimes he lapsed into sort of he would, like, he was almost incomprehensible. He would, his sermons would begin to make no sense. He would spout, just gobbledygook to people who he was talking to. He was moody. Seemed like he was suffering from depression. Just not the same kind of person that he had been before. It was, noticed by almost everybody. And then he disappeared. And that's all really anybody knew about what had ever happened to him. I mean, it was a lot of curious aspects to the fact that Jesker Helton was able, one, to pass in and out of Citadel Drazen more or less unmolested.
The demons and
yeah,
tieflings and everybody around there. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And the evil dwarves and everybody. I mean, he basically came and went. They even allowed him to minister to the prisoners, which in some cases were crusaders and stuff like that, who were followers of Rasta, which was frankly unheard of. But near the end, before he disappeared, he became strange. Seemed to be suffering from depression, was very moody, would seem to lapse into incomprehensibility when he was talking or sermoning or anything like that. And then he just disappeared. Nobody knew whatever happened to him.
I was laughing at when you said that we were talking to some of the prisoners. If you recall, to the man, all the prisoners died, with the exception, in the battle at next to Citadel Drazen at the hill.
Oh,
right
on the hill, yeah.
Right, except for the dude on the toilet that we were carrying around the basement for So we talked to that guy, whatever that guy's name is. He's the one who gave us all this information.
Well, you find that there were other
Toilet
people.
paladin.
So after Dresden was liberated, you do find that there are people living in various places in the Worldwound. In hiding, certainly, undercover in deserted towns and places. The whole area of the Worldwound used to be a country called Sarkoris until the Worldwound opened. Now, obviously, these people are few and far between, but after the liberation of the Citadel, you find that some people are beginning to show up from out in the hinterlands. People who have been in hiding, people who have been just under the radar, tend to be showing up in Citadel Drazen because the word has gotten out that the Citadel has been liberated. There's safety there. There's food there. And people are starting to come in. So more and more people are beginning to show up at Citadel. We
should pool our money and invest in some real estate here, guys. We can be really sitting on a gold mine right here of a future summer homes, and
you got to
somebody's going to build a theme park.
Yeah,
the current value has to be rock bottom, so it's definitely time to buy.
Buy low, sell high.
Buy it. Coppers on the dollar, coppers on the gold piece. Wait, I'm not sure. All right.
Got to be something.
Now, what you just explained there, was that what Lothar? Was that what you were looking for? Because I know somebody was mentioning they thought it was a library, but I thought it was that tomb.
Yeah, well, and it looks like on some level it's not exactly on the way, but we could hit that and then go to the Ivory Tower.
I think
hitting a tomb sounds like fun.
What are we saying, Les?
I think you guys should buy a tavern right there.
Yeah, right on the dry river, on Amari riverbed.
Yep, right there on the riverbed, right by the Ohari Bridge. It'd be perfect. It's the best.
And all we need to do is have some water come trickling back, and
there you go, and a good name for the tavern.
Yeah. The FUPS tier.
I'm the unwilling participant.
Yeah, I'm gonna workshop that name around. We'll get back to you.
All right, cool. All right, so back to this. Anyway, so that's sort of the backstory behind Delamere's tomb. Now, you're not sure if it's actually Delamere's tomb. I mean, from a Rastal priest point of view, this Delamere was sort of kind of a legend. Now, obviously, she's a Sarkorsian legend, but I mean, you'd heard of her, but you were like, well, this person may or may not have ever existed. So it's kind of hard to think, but I mean, you do have the book that she reportedly wrote. You do have writing in it. Somebody had been making notes in the margins. Maybe Jesker, maybe not.
Yeah, that's less than a hex out of the path we take straight there. So.
Exactly. So I'd say it's more or less on the way. We can go check that out, get whatever information we can there,
and then cross over to Ivory Sanctum.
Yeah, and then head towards the Ivory Sanctum.
Can we bring some sort of passenger pigeon type of? So we need something to build an alert Citadel Drazen that we need a force to join us at Ivory Sanctum if we find that we can't take it ourselves without having to walk back.
It's not an easy thing to put together.
I would
it's
say it's more like
probably-
a spell or a potion or something that Go ahead.
So obviously Geyer would volunteer and say, "Look, give me 10 good men," and he's like, "I'll impregnate the bitch." But from Harlequin and
At
Anevia's
least 2
Tearblade
paladin points.
standpoint, they're still. Citadel Drazen has only been liberated for about 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And they are encountering demon incursions relatively nearby, certainly within the green outline that they have to be on call for. So I guess from a Tearblade and Harlequin standpoint, what are you asking for? Because you're talking about even if they went like straight away, it's still hold on a second. Still a 5-day trip.
As a sometime soldier, I would say that we want all the experience points for ourselves. So if we can take this place ourselves, we'll absolutely do that. However, one hag and her 5 minions just about finished our party off when she killed Illendar. Because
come on, don't be dramatic. You lost one guy.
It could have easily gone the other way. So I want to make sure we have a little insurance. That's all. We also had this.
What have you got in mind?
Dwarf ascending spell or a scroll or something that I could say, hey, or what do we have? It would be ascending, wouldn't it? Say
ascending is, I think, what you're looking for.
Yeah, I don't have that ability to cast it, so.
Sending spell, that you can alert them.
Yeah, basically, like we can put it in. You can either have a spell where you can say something, or a locket you could rub that, or a talisman you could rub that.
Okay.
Somebody else has the same talisman, and I'll say, "Oh, I've fallen. I can't get up. Talisman just went off."
Okay.
Is there an amulet? Is there an amulet of life alert? I think
there we go.
Thank
you. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I want a life alert amulet.
We've attacked Xanthir Vang and we can't get up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think so. It would take probably another day, but ultimately, between a combination of Bardos and Illendar in the library, you do manage to find some elements where you think that you can copy the ascending spell onto a scroll. You can write a scroll. It'll take another day to do it. You're not 100% sure that it works. Neither of you have. Do either of you have that spell?
I do not.
Bardos?
I figure somebody at the Dresden does, though. There's got to be somebody between two armies that are sitting here.
There's not a lot of wizards here.
Yeah, Arcane's probably at least represented.
And Bardos, you don't have that spell, do you?
No, I don't.
Do we? Okay. And guys, keep me. Is there anything approximate that is what I'm looking for? I'm just looking for insurance for us. That's all.
Bardos and Illendar do find what they think is actually a copy of the sending spell in the library.
I see.
Now they can make a scroll of it, but
Bardos
neither of them
copy it and put it in his book.
Or Bardos could put it in his book. But neither of you are 100% sure that this spell will work as directed.
All right. Well,
it's an old book. You think it may work. There's no other spells in it. I don't know. You could try it.
Well, it's a in case something break glass situation. So Les can cackle over when you cast the summon greater demon or whatever that you thought was a sending spell. So until then, I'm fine with that. Anybody else have anything else? Any other business we want to get here? And we're hitting Delamere's and then we're hitting Ivory Sanctum. Is that the plan?
Is there anyone? I know we spent most of our money last time, and I don't think we came back with many extra items.
Do you guys have treasure that you haven't divvied up yet?
I have 2,000 gold pieces worth of garnets.
Okay.
Kevin Garnett.
I'm looking.
That's not much. That ain't going to buy us much. But
I did not pick up a single thing, so unless it was written on my sheet here.
Does anybody have the party booty sheet?
I've got.
Is there a party booty sheet?
But the only things I've got are, let me see, potions on a +1 breastplate. I've got +1 hand weapon. I don't know what that is.
The small scythe.
Okay. And some other minor stuff. So nothing that's really worth. The breastplate's probably, like, if we bought it, it would be worth about 1,300. The hand weapon's worth a little over $2,000. That's new prices. We get half that if we sell it. So we don't really have a ton of party booty to.
So maybe not time to do another shopping list. We don't have enough money to bother.
I think we kind of spent our stuff last time.
Yeah, we spent almost everything we had.
If we have any extra money, do we want to put it into like bags of holding for future loot gathering?
That's definitely some bags of holding. I also recommended some rings of protection because they have not been dropping.
You
No,
can
I've
try.
still got-
You can
I've
try to
still
send it
got-
back. Yeah.
Yeah, they have not been dropping. The spawn rate on this this adventure. Really, we need to talk to the designer.
Les,
Yep.
I want to wait real quick. I want to point out one thing so I can delete it from my notes on my sheet.
Okay.
There is papers in a box from the Hell Knight Monastery inside that one cabinet.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I hand off that. Plus, there was papers from the office behind the big statue.
I thought
Correct.
you gave those to what's her face when we got
You did.
back last
Yeah,
time.
you did, I think.
Sure he knows that because I wanted to mark this off the list.
Got it.
Yeah. You gave him back.
Okay,
She's translating them or whatever, right?
that's what I wanted to do. Find out any information on it. I'm just making sure that that's noted.
Yep.
And Bartos could use like 20 gold to buy like stuff since he lost everything pretty much. He's got nothing
Hey,
right
hey
now.
Bartos, I have maybe like $2,000 on me. I might loan you 500. Is that good to get
I
you
don't
back?
need, I just want like a set of clothes and some chalk and flask and
All right.
water skin, that kind of crap.
I'm going to mark off
That's all
100 gold pieces here, and then you can.
Just for
It's a
incidental.
gift.
I'm looking. We've
I
still
tie that to
got.
the church otherwise.
Whenever we bought those 3 items that we did before and sold all that stuff, we still had about $6,000 left over that I said we just keep in party booty in case. Well, at the time I didn't know it was going to be for me, but I thought in case we need to raise someone, that's $5,000. So we've still got that. I'm assuming this permanent party booty I've got, this money, we just keep it settled as Dresden because it doesn't do us any good to have it here, have it on us.
Can we go to Costco and get like a six pack of diamonds for a better price?
Mike, can you add the garnets to that?
Okay. How much is it?
2,000 gold pieces worth.
200? Okay.
2,000.
2,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
2,000? That's a big difference. Okay.
Yes,
Or
it
like
is.
8,000 right there.
So you said it right. So you're not pocketing 1,800.
So just
I was tempted.
Mike,
so
you
you
might as well
know
sell
what we've
everything else.
got in permanent party booty. We've got 276 platinum pieces, 6,700 gold pieces, 1,700 silver pieces, and now with the addition of what I just got, we've got 3,700 gold pieces worth of jewelry. So all that together is about 14 grand.
Not bad.
Like I said, we spent a bunch of it when we bought those items, but I wanted to keep some of it. So if there's something else that someone else needs, we probably should order it while we're here at this time. That way, because it takes, was it about 2 weeks less? Is that what it takes for something to?
Well, yeah.
Thanks.
So basically,
Don wants something.
Basically, caravans come every 2 weeks. Now, for some stuff, depending on what it is, it may take longer because basically, when you put orders in like this, you're sending the money ahead, and you're asking, in some cases, Horgus Guerm's guys or Horgus himself to basically go and find these things. Now, in Crusader-held territory near the Worldwound, these things are going to come at a high premium, which means he, generally speaking, has to go all the way down to Curse or the lake towns to get far enough away from the Worldwound where you can either buy them or you can commission them. So it could ease. I mean, 2 weeks is not very long because it means that he has to not only find a guy inside of 3 days, but some of these things can take a while to manufacture.
Well,
So,
especially if it's a custom piece that has to be made, it's going to take
right,
longer.
exactly. So it could take a month. It could take 6 weeks. What you do know is that Guerm has caravans coming to Dresden from Canebras every 2 weeks. And what Anivia will tell you is that they have been coming on a regular basis. So even now, when you guys are back at Citadel Dresden, there's more things here since before you left, right? So at least one.
There's a
maybe-
Starbucks.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
so,
always
I mean,
a Starbucks.
you laugh, but it's kind of like that. You know, there's fresh food and wine and things. Yeah, I mean, when you guys first got to Citadel Dresden, you know, thankfully the dwarves had brought a bunch of stuff. And then Anivia with her caravan had brought a bunch of things too, but it was still pretty Spartan. Now that there are regular supply chains coming through, you know, things have eased up a bit when it comes to, you know, food, drink, consumer goods, you know, things of that nature.
I'm going to be away.
A waif? I'm going to be a waif
Waif.
too,
You're
once
gonna
my
be a
diet
waif.
kicks in. When my diet kicks in, I'm going to be a waif too.
So now that we've got a Dollar
Well,
General at Citadel Dresden,
Yep.
Pretty
because
much,
everybody has a Dollar General.
Yeah, you can get you know, deodorant sticks and off-brand M&Ms.
Those are awesome.
N and N's.
Thus, I'm going to put a list together. Just Brodo's lost all of his scrolls too, so he can make scrolls. He can also make, you know, any kind of magic items.
So Dresden does have scroll making materials. So they have the materials there, which you would have access to if you want to take the time and rebuild your
And yeah,
scroll list.
Yeah, since you've had several days.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll figure that out, Les, and I'll send you an email with.
Perfect.
What we talked
What about,
before.
so you don't have any of your items that you had? I don't know what you, I
I
don't know
lost.
for.
I mean, I didn't have much. I had the scrolls that I made, but I lost everything I had. The only thing I came back with, well, there's two things I had. I had the Turandula scale, and I had that medal of clarity. And I don't know, did you say I lost both of those, Les? Or I think you said I was able to keep one. I lose all of them?
The scale, you kept the scale, right? Because you found it in that lab, right? It was the scale.
Okay.
So you kept your Turandula scale.
Okay.
Because
So that's basically,
it was being experimented on too. So it was in the same room that you were in.
okay. Cool. So yeah, I mean, I need stuff, just basic stuff. I do have, Les said that I had a backup spell book here. So I've got my spells.
And I'm assuming that you're going to make a backup spell book.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Seeing as that particular thing worked out very well indeed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would assume that that'll take a couple of days. If you're gonna make scrolls and that kind of stuff, I mean, you could use the time. I've got you guys here being here for 6 days after Illendar. You guys talk to the Solar. Hold on, I just had it open. Let me go ahead and punch this up. Actually, show you guys. One second.
I'll look at the rules, Les, for how long it takes to do spellbook copies and the scrolls, and I'll figure some of that stuff out and send you something.
Okay, you can see sort of the tentative timeline here. You guys get back to Dresden on the 29th of October. You bring back Illendar on the 30th. And I've got you in Dresden after Illendar, with Illendar's recovery going until November 5th. And then you guys potentially go to Delamere's tomb.
Right.
Yeah, these are all tentative. I mean, I just stuck them in
Right.
there just a moment ago because it looks like that's what you guys are planning on doing. But if you guys need to stay a couple extra days, I've got you guys 6 days after Illendar comes back in Dresden.
Okay.
And actually, if you want to stay an extra day, this is when a supply caravan is happening the day after that. So you probably want to stay an extra day so you can talk to those guys. If you've got orders to put in, that's when you would put them in.
Okay.
Yeah, let's stay then. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
So that being said, I've also got one of the potions that we got that went in party booty was a potion of Cure Serious.
You can't be serious.
At least you didn't call me Shirley.
Oh. Sorry about that. I apologize to you. I apologize to anybody who was inconvenienced.
I was. I don't know. Usually our frontline fighters need this because this is something that cures a bunch at a time.
Right. Yeah. You should give that to somebody who's going to be in the front.
So I would say probably Fletcher if he didn't have any because
I have one. I have one Cure Serious on my person already.
Okay.
Happy to grab a second one.
Yeah, so give that to Fletcher.
So yeah, you got 2 of them now. I'm taking it off my list.
All righty, going on mine.
And so, like I said, we got a +1 breastplate and a +1 hand weapon. If no one wants those, I would say we just sell those for half. We normally get half, and then.
Yep. Yeah, I'm already wearing a +1 breastplate, or else I'd
Guess you've already got that.
my armor.
Got one then.
Yeah.
Don't have any daggers, do you, Mike? Would we have daggers in company?
We don't have
That's
any.
what Bardos uses. All right. Well, I'll just pick up
No,
a
it's a scythe.
dagger.
That +1 weapon was a scythe. It's weird.
Yeah. I'm looking to see if I've got. I don't even have. I've got a regular dagger, and that's all I've got.
Dice are not simple, right? They're considered martial.
Sights?
Hand sight. I don't know.
I'd have to look at that. I think they're simple, frankly. Hold on a second, because they're tools.
If they are, then that might be something you want.
Let me look here. No, proficiency martial, which is weird, but okay. Weird flex.
So yeah, that wouldn't help you.
Let me look at simple weapons here. Hold on. Dagger will be simple.
Yeah, I'll just get a dagger. I can get a masterwork dagger.
I get that from someone around here.
I mean, honestly, I've never used it.
Daggers. Light mace is a simple weapon.
I'm going to give you a dagger of returning.
Morningstar is simple. Short spear is simple.
That, though, right?
Pardon?
Gatto uses that. Gatto has one of those, right?
Gatto has one of those. He also has a hand axe of returning. That's what he's been using more often.
So does Gatto have a dagger that's returning? I mean,
yes, I have a dagger and a throwing axe, both with returning features on them. I would like to give you the dagger of returning.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that would. I mean, throwing a dagger is probably the best attack that Bardos has, so that would be.
So it's a +1 dagger with the throwing property. So when you throw it, when you go to throw again, it appears back in your hand. You can just throw that same dagger.
Yeah, it's it flies back through the air to the creature who threw it. It returns to the thrower just before the creature's next turn. Catching a returning weapon when it comes back is a free action. If you don't catch it, or if the character moves after throwing it, the weapon drops to the ground in the square from which it was thrown.
Right.
So it comes back to the square. It doesn't come back to the person.
Well, if the person's there, it comes back and he can catch it. But yeah, it comes back to the square.
Right.
Cool. That's the best magic item I've ever had.
There you go. And I am marking it off my sheet then.
All right, great.
Well, hey, then I'm going to give you something else then. Since you've got nothing, I'm going to give you my Pearl of Power.
Ooh.
It basically it's a free second level slot is what it does.
What'd you say, what level?
It's a Pearl of Power, level 2.
Level 2, okay.
So it gives you a free level 2 slot.
Yep, perfect.
Hey, Mike, can I double check a few things with you that I had written down, but I think we've already. Sure. A scroll of greater dispel magic.
I've got that in Party
A
BD.
scroll. Okay, blade barrier as well.
I do not have that one.
Where did that go to Lothar?
If Lothar's got it, then that's where it went. If not, then
I don't have it.
What are we looking for?
So I had written down that we picked up a scroll of blade barrier, and I don't have written down to it who ended up with it.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. I love me a blade barrier.
Is that something you want, Bardos?
Pretty sure that's a divine thing.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
a
okay.
cleric.
So then maybe it is you,
So-
Lothar. Okay. And then
Actually-
I had a wand of major image with 11 charges.
Hey, Les,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pick up a normal dagger and just put it in my boot.
Okay. Ow! Stuck your ankle there.
Yeah, I don't have that in my list either. So
Speed is halved.
Who can use that? Is that a arcane or?
that would be an arcane.
That's a
probably.
mage thing.
Yeah, Bartles could use that.
Okay, so you got it.
Okay, so say that again. What was it?
It was a wand
scroll or
of
a
major
wand?
image with 11 charges.
Gato, while I was gone, did people respond to your hat of the disguise?
No one responded.
It makes sense to me. What are we talking price-wise?
How much is it, Don?
Normal fee is 1,800.
And Bartles can make those now too. I don't have the spell though. What that spell is?
Disguise self.
It's like disguise self. It's only a
Let's
first
see if
level spell.
if we order that scroll, then you can not only come back, put it in your spell book, but then you can use that to cast,
Right.
create the item.
Yeah. So
So if he let's just order the scroll. He can then put it in his book, and then he can create the item.
For half price, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it only takes
also-
2 days to do it since they're 1,800 each. So
Let's do them.
I already have haste too, so I can make boots of speed for half the cost too, if anybody wants those.
Who doesn't want that?
Boots or speed are kind of awesome.
They are freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
6 orders, please.
I mean, right now you've got 2 arcane mages that both cast that spell, so a lot of times you guys get it anyway, but it'd be nice.
Well, you got to have the right feet too. I mean, it's craft wondrous item, I believe, for something
Right,
like boots of speed.
right feet. I see what you did there, Les.
Yeah, I have that, Les. I've got craft.
You've got craft wondrous item. Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Boots of speed. Craft wondrous item haste costs $6,000. So as a free action, wearer of boots of speed can click their heels together as if they are, and they are affected as if haste spell for up to 10 rounds each day, and they don't need to be consecutive rounds. So you click on.
the cost is $6,000 to make them.
Mm-hmm.
Are they
$12,000 to buy 'em.
12,000?
Yeah.
That's expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a great item.
It's a great item though. Yeah.
So as another potential item for Bardos, the Ring of Force Fangs.
Another good one.
What are those? Like Dracula fangs?
Well, this is
No,
something
no,
that
it's a ring that casts magic missile, but it
Oh,
also
awesome.
absorbs magic missile. It
Yeah.
actually absorbs any force spell.
Does it absorb magic missile and then you can recast those back out?
Well, the way that the ring works is to charge it, it has to absorb force spells.
Hmm.
So on
Once,
off days,
once
parts
you
recast a magic missile at it just to charge it up.
right,
Right.
once it's charged. Now, if it's fully charged, it can't absorb anything else.
Right.
But
right, you just get hit.
right, you just get hit. But however many charges it has is how many magic missiles you can cast, up to 5 per round.
How many
But it
total
only
charges
holds
does it have?
It holds a maximum of 9 charges.
Right, it holds a maximum of 9 charges.
But I have 10 fingers, so I could have one ring on each. And do
No.
like it.
Well,
Well,
the limit is
not
1
how
ring on
rings
each
work.
hand.
No. I wanted like a Last Starfighter Death Blossom.
It's just one ring, but
Who do you
it's
think you
something,
are? Thanos? No.
it's something Bardos could use. And you would even have
It's
the
an
ability to
underrated
charge
movie,
it up.
Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, he does. That's a good point.
I'll take it, Chuck.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, that's something else. I do. I don't have magic missile, so I would love a scroll of magic missile, so I could learn that spell.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of offensive things, but magic
Right.
missile is a no-brainer for anybody. So
You just want to get your verm levels up, right?
Yeah, you just got to
yeah.
So a scroll
Right.
magic missile and a scroll of what? What was the first one?
There's this guy's,
Alter
right?
Alter self?
I think.
Alter
Yeah, the
self.
one for the hat. Yeah.
Hey, Les,
Yep.
we're going to send a scroll order. I won't have these all done tonight,
Okay.
but over the next week or so, we'll get that order, and that way that's what we send off before we leave here. Dresden.
Sounds good.
And Bardos, The ring currently has 3 charges.
Okay.
You can take
Right.
it to 0 and it doesn't destroy it. It just means it's useless until you charge it back up. Now, it can absorb force spells, not just magic missile, any force spell.
So you can charge it then because you
Right.
can use your divine weapon.
But we
That's
can't
force.
punch him, and he absorbs
No,
force.
No.
Right?
but it is a defensive item as well as being an offensive.
Right.
Right. Just
So-
think of it as like a battery,
And
right?
it holds
So,
up to 12.
9 is what I have.
Yeah. Yeah, this
Okay,
is-
we'll go with 9.
So that makes for an interesting thing. When you go out and you have this, you can shoot up to 5 missiles per round. But you have to have 5 charges in it to do that. But you also want to have some back in case you get hit by a magic missile. So it might make sense to only charge it to 5. So you have 4 open missile slots, but you can also shoot off that 5-round magic missile thing from the thing to sort of drain it. I don't know. It's an interesting little magic item.
Always have it loaded at 9.
I would.
Forget less in his logic. We're all about explosive damage.
All about the verm.
And it
all
does
about the verm.
allow for great verm capacity, which is why I'm currently in first place.
Which is why.
Here, the leaderboard.
He is on the leaderboard, if I recall correctly.
I am on the
Yes, he's-
leaderboard.
he's
I'm
on
number
the
1,
leaderboard.
and it's because of that freaking ring.
You should put that on your LinkedIn and see people like, I see on your resume here.
So now,
You're number
now,
1 on the Verm leaderboard.
when Bardo shoots past me on the verm leaderboard, remember I gave it to him.
Okay, done.
Yeah,
So
so
we'll be forever grateful.
Chuck is in the lead with 3. And then it's second is tied for with Gordon, Matt, and me. So like we're counting Friday night verms too. I got 2 couple of weeks ago. So.
Nice.
Okay.
Tom would be proud, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah.
How much do I have to pay or charge or wait for someone to do some kind of saddle for Storm?
So it'll take a couple of days to get that together. But the raw materials are there. Basically what they're going to do is they're going to take, if you're talking about a 2-person saddle, so you just basically describe what you want to do to this guy. And he's like, the easiest, best way is to essentially take 2 saddles, remove some of the stuff, extend the straps, connect them together using some sort of like, sheet of leather or something like that. So you basically have a double saddle, restrap it and put that on there. Now he said, if you want to do the air cab thing, he said the easiest and best way is to get a net that will go around Storm's body. And essentially, rather than having their own seats, what you would do is anybody else that's not in the saddles would grab onto the net. Storm flies in, they release, they jump off, and then they're in, and then the Storm flies off. It's the essential of like those old Vietnam movies where they're hanging on the skids of the helicopters. Right. Yeah, and that kind of thing. With a net, however, you would be able to sort of lock your hand in, have someplace to put your foot. It would be the easiest way rather than trying to build a whole.
Hey, Les, you need a new soundbite now. We're going to definitely need the Ride of the Valkyries.
Okay, I'll have to find it. That's when you guys air cap. I'm on it. Yeah.
Okay.
I love the smell of dragon in the morning.
Charlie, don't surf. And just
Baphomet don't surf.
And just as an FYI, the cleric will be taking no part in any of this.
Why not?
Strength 10, con 10, not clinging
so the cleric
on the
is one
side
of
of
the
anything.
seats.
Yeah.
No, the cleric is going to stay his happy ass on the ground.
Maybe we'd have a rope behind you and you could water ski.
You water ski.
What is it, soldier? Well, I mean, it's pretty hairy in there. It's Charlie's point. Charlie, don't surf!
That's right. Charlie don't surf.
Lothar, don't surf.
Yeah.
Lothar don't surf.
Machete don't text and Charlie don't surf.
Sorry, I'm writing down Lothar don't surf. That'll be tweeted later. Okay, so you'll send me a scroll list.
Yep.
You'll send me the scrolls that you're scribing to
The
take
scrolls
with
in the
you.
order list. I'll send that within the next week or 2.
Okay, cool. And then anything else? Anything else?
I think I'm ready to hit the tune.
Yeah.
Ready to go? Horses, no horses.
We don't
I guess you don't really need them. You got a dual saddle dragon. What? Sorry.
Hey, it wasn't me that time.
What do you mean? What did somebody say something? Was it dragon?
No,
Something
No.
about a dragon.
no.
You know what?
He's actually touching his face. He's like, I'm feeling it.
It's easier on Gato now because now that she's here, he actually sees it coming. Whereas before, she just popped in, did it, and popped right back out.
Yeah, I know.
I'm having a Pavlovian response, so next time my son talks about dragons or something, I'm going to twitch.
In the background, you'll hear the distinct but unmistakable sound of.
Is that the succubus whip, her riding crop she carries around?
It's just a thing I found on YouTube. It just says slap sound effect, and it sounds like this. All right, so you guys are ready to go.
Yep.
All right.
Can we go through those scars, Les, or do you have to go around those?
Let's go around those.
You have to go around them or up and down
Actually,
them. So they tend
actually,
to
if we're
be
doing
these
the net,
large rips.
One cast of enlarge, we just go right over it.
Yeah, I've got an enlarged mass now too, so I can make lots of people big.
That's hysterical.
So you can already enlarge, oh my God, Storm to
Dragon.
elephant, and now you can mass enlarge it and make it like the size of like
No.
a mall, or no?
It doesn't
No,
stop.
it's just quantity. Mass enlarged just means I can do more than one person at a time.
Yeah, you cast it, and all of a sudden, all of our fighters and Storm just appear larger.
I can't wait.
like 8
I can't wait for that.
Great things.
Otto's gotta get bigger.
I want to bust it a wall like Kool-Aid. Oh yeah!
Yeah, because you guys end up, turn about 10, 11 feet tall,
Yep.
and Storm pretty much turns into the size of an elephant. So
Sometimes during a battle, I like just take a knee and just watch Fletcher go to work. Just as he just Cuisinarts his way, he frappes his way through a bunch of bad guys. Like I just do a slow golf clap. Oh, just beautiful.
So
I'm picturing Les is going to make every encounter now into like 10-foot wide narrow corridors.
yeah,
Yeah, where can you go?
Yeah.
I've already read it in. All right, so
7
on
foot tall.
the morning of November, or Neth, as the Golarian month is called, the 7th of Neth in the year 4717, you guys set out once again from Citadel Drazen, headed southwest towards what you suspect is the location of Delamere's tomb, or at the very least, a temple of Rastal that was maybe populated, or at one time was, by the priest Jesker Helton. Take off into the thing and into the Worldwound, and you realize that despite the sort of relative safety of Dresden, I mean, being surrounded by dwarves who are armed to the teeth, being enjoying hot food and mulled wine and all of essentially the comforts of home, you realize that you don't have to get very far away from Citadel Dresden before things become quite wild again. As you're out in the Worldwound, you do spot the occasional patrol out on the edges, but once you get outside of that primary sort of hex where Citadel Drazen is in, things grow wild. This is the sort of place. This is the sort of environment you're used to. You've been in it for weeks now, fighting your way back and forth, dealing with the poisonous sort of environment of the Worldwound, living off of Lothar's created water and the food that you've brought with you. Your packs are heavy with it now, but everybody has a bit of a spring in their step because Illendar's back, Bardos is back, the gang has got back together, the band is back together, and so there's now your thoughts turn towards revenge. Frankly, obviously Bardos, has told you stories about what befell him while he was in the Ivory Sanctum. And each story is more horrible than the last, and it doesn't get any better, even though it's been being told in sort of Bardos's unemotional, sort of flat tones. He doesn't get cranked on it, but obviously they did some pretty nasty things to him. At the same time, Lothar, your mind is on this Jesker Helton, this priest of Erastil, much like yourself, a young priest who wished only to do well, and how as you carried the book, the Stag King's Bride, with you, you find yourself again looking occasionally on those back pages, that handwriting, which you suspect is Jesker's, sort of falling into this heretical belief. The 50, and you sort of shake your head every time you read some of the passages of the book of how this cities are bad, and the 54th person is always a turncoat, is always evil, and these things to be false. Obviously, you come from a village in the north that had much more than 54 people, and that they were not evil, like I said. But your thoughts also turn to your mentor, who you feel is still alive, but may be somewhere in the Worldwound, maybe somewhere else. You don't know. Everyone has various things on their mind, but no one more so than Illendar, as he thinks of his friend Bardos, who walks next to him as you guys sort of traipse through the Worldwound, passing through the reddish dust on your way south, and Arushale back at Citadel Drazen. You worry about her and whether or not they're going to be treating her right, and whether or not she'll face the slings and arrows of either the approbation or outright antagonism of the
actual slings and arrows,
or actual slings and arrows of the Drazeni. Even though you've been assured by multiple people that she will be cared for, she will be watched over. Gato, I don't know what you're thinking, probably about how best to rob your fellow party members, picking pockets and those kind of things, stealing food from people's packs, that kind of stuff.
No, he's thinking about putting bells on Storm's toes so he can.
The way Gato explained it to me is he's just trying to reduce our encumbrance. For more skill.
Let me carry that for you. What is that, a big bag of gold? I'll lug it, don't worry. Farina, you walk next to Otto. Realizing now that over the last months that not only have you and Otto grown to be sort of this fighting team, but you also look at these other guys and you think team as well. At first you frankly didn't like them all that much, but you've grown to first you grew to respect them, and now you've grown to have some certain affection for them. They've watched your back, you've watched theirs, you've gone through some pretty hellish places together, and frankly, we're only in book 3, so there's probably a fair amount of hellish places yet to go. And Flashheart, you as the paladin of Iomade, the nominal leader of the Fellowship of Unwilling Participants, a position you never sought, but despite your past and your occasional bouts of mild madness, you feel like everybody kind of looks to you for guidance, that this is they feel themselves very much on a crusade, as do you. And even though you fell into it sort of accidentally, now you find yourself the point of the spear, as an Evia Tirablade would say, the head of a small guerrilla group that's been taking out various demons and strongholds throughout the world, and stretching the borders of the lands owned by the Crusaders through dint of your own efforts. Finally, Fletcher, who has come a long way from the Riverlands from which you've been, the problems associated with you back in your village, and the things that you did and things that you didn't do, the people that disappointed you and the people that you disappointed. Now you find yourself hundreds of leagues from there, and a whole lifetime away from your mind, where suddenly you find yourself a warrior and a crusader, and someone for whom the destruction of demonic influences and evil has become the primary avocation that you do. And you think back upon those elves that you left, and you think, what would they think of me now? What would they say if they saw you walking out into the Worldwound, giant hammer in your hand, two-handed sword in a baldric on your back, walking into the face of what is undoubtedly some sort of dangerous situation, with demons flying overhead, strongholds of Baphometians, taking the fight to them. Suddenly finding yourself at in a crusade that you had never thought that you would ever take part in. All these things. It's in the months that you guys have come since trying to attend that festival in Canebras. Things have changed drastically, and you're seeing the world very differently than you once did. You pass through the Worldwound to the southwest with relative ease and without incident, making your first camp sort of in the middle of that hext. Again, you all immediately revert back into those Worldwound behaviors, camping without fire, eating cold food, passing around a flask of wine or ale that has warmed in the sun. The desert is getting chillier at night now. It's November, and you're in the north. Lothar, the cold doesn't bother you. In fact, it reminds you of your home, which is thousands of leagues away. But the chill feels similar, the evening chill, and you embrace it. But the rest of you are from the Southlands, and other than Bardos, for whom hot and cold doesn't seem to make too much of a difference, the rest of you begin to feel those chills, and you pull those blankets and bedrolls around tightly, hoping to cuddle up to a fire that doesn't exist as you see one or two of you on watch through the course of the night, making sure of things. And you fall into these habits very quickly again, even after the relative comforts of Dresden. The next day, you're traveling southwestward and following the maps that you've taken from Dresden, looking for this temple, and you don't see much. You're traversing across the thing. The ground is rifted. Some of these rifts are very deep. Some of them you're noticing have lava or magma, and not necessarily in the bottoms, but you can smell the bitumen and brimstone, the sulfur smell of open magma and lava, where these rifts have torn open the ground all the way apparently to the mantle of Galarian. You finally find what you suspect to be the temple that Helton built out here, the Temple to Erastil. You find it. It is a building. It's a humble wooden chapel. It has a small stone foundation. The stones look like they were put there. It's definitely a building that's maybe 20 by 20. With a small sort of attached room at the back. The first thing you notice is that it's definitely made by hand. The stones are Worldwound stones. The wood seems to be of all different types. Some of it new, sawn boards. Others, just found wood. Things just sort of tacked together. It's lashed together in some places with mud mortar, which is you can tell is made from the sand and the sandy ground of the Worldwound. Other places it's tied together with old ropes. In one case, a small chain has been wrapped to hold the wood walls together. As temples go, it is modest. It is humble. But it is and small. And as far as you can tell, there is no one around it. You don't see any people as you approach from about 50 to 100 yards away. What do you guys do?
I'd like to send Otto in on scout.
If you'd like me to, I'll go ahead and scout.
I focus on the building less and see if I can detect evil from. Am I close enough? I don't think I have a
60 feet is how far you can
60
get.
feet. Right. Am I far outside 60 feet at the moment?
About 60. I mean, well, right now you guys are about 50 yards away, so it's a little bit further than 60 feet.
Okay. I will mosey to the 60-foot mark.
Actually, you want to let Gatto check it out first?
That's probably a better idea.
How big is the building?
And stuff.
The building itself it's sort of like twofold. The main sort of structure is about 20 by 20, very small. seems to be like a little like smaller than 10 by 10, maybe 8 by 8 sort of secondary room or it's not a separate building, it's a secondary room that sort of looks like it's stuck on the back. It definitely
like a wing off it, kind of,
yeah, but it looks like they were built at different times, albeit of the same material. This like, shitty local wood. And
I'm gonna try to do a lap around the building. If I get to a spot where it looks like there's people, I obviously won't pass them, but I'm gonna go investigate.
Okay.
Self-check for Otto.
Okay, so how close do you get when you make this lap?
20 feet away.
20 feet. All right. So give me a perception check. While you're doing that, you get to be so Flashheart. You get to be about 60 feet away, and you go ahead and do you go to 60 and you do the detect evil.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it does. The building itself, or at least something inside, radiates evil. Now, the evil that you get from it is not the kind of evil that's sort of centralized in a person, but more of a diffuse evil, like the region, sort of the building itself, maybe even radiates a kind of evil.
Now, we haven't discussed this, but by now, as pretty much everywhere we walk to, something evil's lurking. We've worked out some hand signals where I will now alert my fellow party members that there's something evil. The building is evil, or something's evil ahead.
All right,
I will
you
do
give
like
sort of like.
Yeah, exactly. I carry a pair of flags with me, and I do a little bit of semaphore for everybody in a special paladin dance.
The little cone flashlights like they have at the airport.
Exactly.
25 perception, less.
25 perception. So when you get close, when you get within about 40 feet, you begin to feel very uneasy. There's something about this building that's making you nervous. And as honestly, you have to sort of force yourself to get closer.
I wouldn't actually stay at that distance and kind of go around there.
All right, so you're going to stay at like 40?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It honestly, it makes you uneasy. There's something about it that makes you a little fearful. Like there's something inside, something you don't want to see. The building itself just sort of sits there, quiet. The door, as you sort of like whirl around, you see that the main door, which is, again, this is very modest. It's a shack, essentially. The door is sort of like standing open, and on one, it had been like tied with ropes instead of like hinges, and one of those ropes has sort of like eaten through, so it sits on an angle. You can't see inside because it's the darkness of the roof. Even though the roof is really shitty, it just does seem it seems awfully dark in there.
So one entrance.
Yep.
Open. No windows.
No windows.
No
entrance in the rearward room either.
Emanating from that spot.
Mm-hmm.
I go back and tell the people.
Okay. And so at the same time, I think Flashheart will tell you like there's some sort of evil or something is going on there because he is receiving detect evil does reveal that there is some a sort of diffuse sense of evil.
Sense evil there, yes.
Yeah. Hold on just a second. I'm gonna reload.
Can you see illusions?
You were detecting evil, and then Gato comes out from behind the building. Like, oh, okay.
Okay, that explains it.
Yeah. False positive here. That's...
Evil.
Who do you want to send up first?
I was going to send Otto out. I rolled 28 stealth and let him listen, like get real close and listen.
Okay.
Unless you think there's a better idea to get more intel.
So Lothar, this is
Your music is quite sinister, by the way, Les. It's making me slightly unsettled. I like it.
It's supposed to be, yeah. It's working with this Sirenscape, by the way. So Lothar, you have seen in your travels, modest, humble temples to Erastil, and you know that Erastil treats even the humblest temple as if it were a cathedral. Erastil is very much a in the weeds sort of deity, and very much about. Many of the poorest people, farmers, agricultural workers, craftsmen, worship Erastil. She's very close to the earth. So it would not be. I mean, you do not feel like this could not be a temple of Erastil, but the fact that it makes Gato uneasy and Flashlight says there is some sort of nascent evil in there, that offends you a little bit. This is your deity, for Pete's sake, and frankly, it's one thing to make a very humble temple out here in the middle of nowhere. It's quite another for it to be infused with evil. You realize that the Worldwound infects everything that it touches, but this is making you a little mad.
Yeah.
You can feel the rage building on you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to send Otto up to the close perimeter. I rolled 28 stealth for him.
Okay. So you see Otto kind of like, he's kind of like hunkering up there.
He's listening. I want him to listen to us.
So does he get up to the doorway?
I probably won't go right to the front door. We'll start and just walk the perimeter of the building and end at the door.
Okay. As he passes that sort of point where Gato had made sort of the circle around the building, Otto begins to feel sort of. I mean, you could feel it through Otto. Otto is becoming nervous. You can see his whiskers are twitching, his ears are flicking back and forth, his tail is snapping back and forth as he crawls forward towards the door. He keeps going, but you can tell that something is very much irritating him. Did we ever get to? Have you gotten to the point?
Anything?
Give me a perception check. Or did you already?
I thought I did, but I didn't. So here it is.
Is that the 34? Okay.
No, that was the stealth. There's the perception.
25. He does not hear anything. Although he will tell you that he smells blood. It smells like blood inside. Now he does not. He stops about 8 feet from the door, and you get. I mean, he doesn't say anything. Otto doesn't say anything, but you get the vibration from him, the feeling from him that his hackles are up. Something is making him really nervous. He doesn't see anything. He smells that blood smell, but there's no interlopers or anything like that. It's just
he doesn't hear a thing.
He doesn't hear anything.
He doesn't hear a thing. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Well, I'll bring him back.
Okay. There's a sense of palpable relief when you give him that sort of mental order to come back, and he hustles right back to you, and you see that he has sort of given up any aspects of like stealthing back to you. He doesn't stealth back to you. He comes kind of like loping back. He's in a hurry.
Well, I think we're at the right place. So who wants to knock on the door?
Well, the door's half off. Yeah.
Are we going into initiative, or are we just acting?
There's no one to fight.
I'm gonna cast.
Go ahead in.
I'm gonna cast protection from evil and approach the tomb.
Gato kicks it. Gato, you open the door, and then I'll throw some holy water on the floor there. Let's see what happens.
Flashheart could open the door. It's already open. I mean,
I'm probably the best equipped if it's not explosive runes or something to take to sponge up any immediate damage if I open the door.
Lothar can do it.
Well, at this point, if there's any hesitation, and everybody else, I'm going to cast protection from evil, and then I'm going to go and open the door.
Okay. Well, the door's open. It's just standing open.
Well, whatever. I'm going to go and breach the entryway.
Okay, so
I'm following Lothar if he lets me follow him.
Yeah, what's your armor class there?
Okay.
Well, once again, the description just was, this offends me on a very personal level as a priest of Erastil. So I've cast protection from evil, and now I'm going to go figure out what the hell needs to die.
I will hustle up to stay with Lothar.
Why don't you let some other guys go in front of you, and then you follow.
That would be fantastic logic, except I've already done it.
All right, so Lothar, as you approach, that same sort of nervousness sort of steals over you, and it's pernicious. At first, you're like, this is a really creepy place. And, it's almost like, on one hand, you have this sort of righteous anger about somebody, nobody transgresses a temple of Erastil, no matter how humble, on my watch. And you're sort of like 99% righteous anger, 1%, I'm a little nervous, this is a creepy place. And as you get closer, that righteous anger starts to sort of bleed away, and the nervousness begins to sort of increase. And by the time you get within 10 feet of that door, you find yourself, sort of like having to force your steps through it. You can feel, give me a knowledge religion real quick.
Maybe a spell effect.
Fear can be, Unless,
29.
as Lothar moves forward, I'm going to touch him and cast resistance on him. +1 to saves.
+1 to saves. Okay, Kirk. So 29 knowledge check. There's a moment where you're like, why do I feel this way? It's making me crazy. And then it dawns on you, somebody or something has unhallowed this place. And what's more, from your, having that they've added a fear effect to it. That it's sort of generating this artifact. And it's almost, even though you still feel it and you're nervous and you're shaking a little bit, you can, you're like, now I understand. Somebody unhallowed this place, which frankly sends that righteous anger back up, because you're like, now it's one thing to let these things go down, but you're going to unhallow a temple of Erastil? Somebody's going to get dead because of this. You're unhappy. But now you get it. So you steeling yourself, you put one foot on the transom and sort of peer into the darkness with everybody else behind you.
And if I can, as a free action, I will let everyone know that this is a spell effect. The fear is an unhallowing and a spell effect.
Seems real to me.
To just fight it.
You guys can feel it. Everybody is feeling this sort of this sense of foreboding, this sense of like whatever's, going into that place is just going to, we're never going to come out.
It feels like a Monday morning before work.
Exactly.
Sense of foreboding.
A sense
Dread.
of foreboding. The boss is going to be there before you.
Isn't the paladin immune to fear?
He is,
Oh, yeah.
So he would not feel it. He would not feel it. He's like, to me, my friends, we will smash this shit together.
I'm gonna try to console you and say it's not so bad. A little paint, a little spackle, it'll be right. It'll be rehallowed no time.
So it takes a moment, Lothar, for your eyes to sort of adjust to the darkness inside. There's no lights or anything inside, and ultimately, once you get onto the transom and you look through the door and sort of peer your head in, the light starts to come up. That there's more light. You can start to see clearly. But frankly, you wish you hadn't. There's an altar, a small shrine, which is unmistakably to Erastil. And you can see that there has been blood splashed on it. On the altar itself, you see in front of the altar, where normally would be the statue of Erastil. In this case, it's a small statue about 4 feet high, has been thrown to the ground and broken into several pieces with blood splashed on it. You also see, as you look around, you see that same blood seems to have been used to write words on the walls. Some of them seem to be in abyssal. Some of them are just sort of insults to Erastil. But on the front of the altar is a phrase which you're not sure you understand, but it says, "Just as Delamere now weeps tears of fire, so shall those who follow go to the pyre." And there is you see some very rude benches which have been tipped over, seating for maybe a dozen people from a congregation. But the wood has been splintered and thrown about, and this blood cast about. It's definitely a place that has been defiled.
Desecrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if no one else is going to act, I'm going to go in.
Okay. You look around. Other than what you notice as the unmistakable effects of an unhallow spell, which would have, which would cause you difficulties for, if you were in a fight. Other than that, it seems empty. In the back, behind the altar and behind the broken statue, you can see that there is a small door, also open, that leads into what you suspect is that small 8x8 room. It looks like some sort of quarters.
Okay, I'll move towards that.
Okay. You gonna peek in there? Nothing attacks you or anything like that. You just find yourself disgusted by that someone would treat a temple of Erastil, no matter how humble, this cavalierly.
Right.
And if you find that this was Jesker Helton who did this, then he's got some answering to do.
Right.
You peek in that doorway, and it's a very modest sort of like bedroom, like a living room, where whoever maybe was the priest here would live. There's a small, very rough-hewn sort of bed, hardly more than a bedroll that's been lifted off the ground a couple inches. You can see that there's some clothing in a pile in one corner, seems undisturbed. None of the blood or anything is back here. You also see that there's a small stone sort of cooking area that, obviously is handmade. It's very much a handmade place. Give me a quick perception check.
18.
All right, so you do see a couple of things. There's a small area on the bed where you can see sort of tucked underneath the covers, sort of slide, and you sort of just catch a glimpse of there's some papers. And you also get a whiff of sulfur, brimstone, some sort of acrid smell in here.
Okay.
Sulfury.
Demon.
Well, I'm going to call Tagato
Mm-hmm.
because I know he has the penchants for finding things that are hidden, and I'm going to collect up the papers.
Okay. You pull back
doing that. I'm casting Mage Armor on Storm.
Okay.
Where are the rest of us? Because I feel like we're about to go on initiative here.
I will steel myself and go in.
Okay. You go in the room. Did you roll any of those 20s?
What do you need?
I need a
Trap check.
Trap check.
Yeah, he rolled a whole bunch of rolls.
Did you?
I emailed you all.
Oh
this.
yeah, I see. I'm like, oh, okay. You email them. At least them. Okay, so the first one's 17. You see. So you walk in, and Lothar's calling, "Gato, come here for a second." And you sort of look around, and you're like, "Huh, I smell that too. It's like acrid, sulfury." Lothar's looking at some papers that he found. It looks like on this sort of like rough-hewn bed, but it's underneath the bed that draws your eye. There seems to be, honestly, you don't even miss it at first. You don't even see it at first, but underneath the bed, almost in like a little line, is some sort of reddish glow. It's very dim, and if you, frankly, you're not surprised that Lothar didn't see it, because you've got your elven blood sort of allows you to see some things, see better, and you see this little, it's like a line.
Okay, I'll do an active check for traps. 30.
Okay. So you don't see any traps. What you see is what you think is some sort of trap door underneath the bed.
I think we need to move this bed and open this trap door that I found.
I'm good at moving things.
Go ahead and do that for me then.
I'm moving the bed.
Okay, so you move the bed over, and you can see it becomes pretty obvious. There is definitely a trap door under there. It is sort of, sort of cobbled together. It looks like it was built after the rest of the room. The wood looks newer, if that's a thing. It looks like an aftermarket trapdoor, for lack of a better term. It doesn't seem to have a locker. I mean, it's just got a rope handle stuck on it, and it doesn't seem to have any sort of locking mechanism.
Okay, I'm going to check for traps just on that door.
Okay.
16.
16. You don't see anything that looks like a trap. Frankly, you don't see any place where they could put a trap unless it's on the underneath of some sort.
I open the door.
All right, so you pop it open and you see what looks to be sort of a very kind of not very big crevice. Maybe for it's obvious that somebody dug here, but they dug down to reach what is obviously sort of a natural fissure in the ground. So it's maybe 3.5, 4 feet down, where it's dug, and it's probably 3 feet across, sort of like a round area that's obviously dug out. Then you reach down and there's like a fissure, which is much bigger. And there's a small python ring made of rusty iron stuck into the wall, and a knotted rope that goes down into the fissure. As far as you can tell, it goes down maybe 20 feet and then opens up into some sort of area. There does seem to be a dim reddish glow coming from down below.
And
that's what you saw.
Would Flashheart fit down this fissure?
Yes.
Okay,
Shadow
so
says, looks very dangerous. You go first.
Storm. But
the only thing that you think might be problematic is getting Storm down there.
Right.
There's always a large spells, but no shrink spells.
Unless Storm just pops in after we get down there.
Yeah, can't we summon him down there?
Yeah.
No, you have to ask Illendar about that.
Yeah, I can dismiss her as a free action and just summon her. As long as I can see it and it's within like 30 feet, I can summon her.
Okay. Yeah, the rope goes down about 20 feet, this frayed sort of knotted rope that's hung on this single python ring stuck in the wall. Goes down about 20 feet, and then it looks like it's some sort of maybe cave.
So can someone give me some sort of light source I can take with me?
Yeah, weren't we casting spells on like a coin or something? Like permanent light sources?
Yeah, I can cast light on some object you're carrying.
Okay. Yeah, cast it on a coin.
Okay.
I'm gonna get on the rope. The rope that's there. Does that seem sturdy, or should we use our own rope?
You gonna try and fiddle it? You try and wiggle that python ring? It seems. Well, give me a perception check.
Perception.
Looks fine.
Looks fine. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't seem to wiggle. You probably climb down it.
I get on that rope and start climbing down.
How much do you weigh?
I'm
just kidding around. You get on that rope, and it actually is quite a bit sturdier than you initially thought.
I can tell you how much I weigh.
No, it's okay. You're a little nervous, frankly, getting down there, but so you scoot down pretty quickly. But
when I get to the point where it opens up, I drop the coin down there to see how far it goes.
Okay. It goes about about 15 feet. And the rope goes down almost to the ground as far as you can tell.
Okay, but where it opens up, I'll say it. So where the fissure opens up below it, that's when I drop the coin. It goes another 15 feet down, right?
No. It goes maybe 3 feet down from you're about 5 feet down on the rope.
Okay.
Drop the coin. It drops to about 3 feet below the end of the rope and stops there. Floor.
Okay, I climb down.
You climb all the way down. All right. So you find yourself in a cavern. There's this sort of diffuse glow of, some sort of reddish glow. The smell of sulfur is very strong down here, and you suspect that, and it's frankly quite warm. You're probably looking at a 10 to 15 degree difference between the surface and where you are now. You suspect that after having passed through some of these places where the rifts have opened up magma areas or lava, that there might be one of those rifts close by here, because the temperature's up and you can smell it's very sulfury.
Would anyone else like to join me down here?
I'll come down.
Me too.
Good.
Unless I need to roll for it less, I'm just gonna clamber on down there and draw radiance and put her on medium intensity to see what we're looking at.
Okay. I love that you have a dimmer switch on Radiance. I love that part. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get that.
I like to have a little bit left over for when I face true evil and I can maximize intensity.
All right. All right. So you find yourself in a cave, and you suspect that this direction is the way that you should go because there's not really anything over to the north of where you are. And like I said before, you guys smell sulfur. You guys, it's warm down here. There's a diffuse sort of red light. Which seems to be growing brighter as I change the things.
Marina's going to cast bark skin on herself. Pull an arrow. Knock it.
So
Okay.
where am I at right now?
In front.
Well, no,
You guys should be able to. So
right here, but-
yeah, you guys can move around. This is the way to go. You think?
Where did we come down the ladder?
Right where you guys are. So the ladder is right about here.
Oh, okay.
And then we have to walk around the bottom of the map to start coming in right here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay.
Let me go ahead just a little bit, guys, and
Wow, the new storm picture is big.
Storm's big. Yeah.
Less toothless, more Klingon bird of prey.
So as you guys go in,
I'll probably have them replace the old face of.
the
Toothless.
tunnel opens up into a pretty large cavern, through which a bubbling river of lava sort of flows through, and there are several pits between various places. A small ledge sits near the center, and a slab of smoky crystal, which you don't see yet because I fucked that up. But this area seems to be, honestly, Gato, do you have a survival skill?
yes. Hold on. Let me see what
Give me
my.
a survival check.
I've got survival in case that helps.
Down there with him?
I was the one next to him, yeah.
Les, I think I dropped Farina off the map. I can't see her or get her anymore. Can you see her?
Where is Frida?
She's next to Otto south.
Let me see what I can do. I'll try. I want to move Otto forward to get him out of the way here. Ooh, that's her. Oh, okay. We may have lost her. Hold on. We lost Farina.
Thank God, Farina.
She's out of the game.
There she is, right there. She's
There she
on
is.
the storm.
Where is he?
Oh, there she is. Okay,
The
good.
storm was standing on top of her.
Cut it out, Storm.
I'm like, sorry.
Dragon.
Oh. Brace yourselves.
Storm was just providing cover.
The slap is coming. There it is.
Okay. Did you give me a survival check?
You did. You
Yeah.
got a 14.
Okay. 14. Yeah. So give me a perception check real quick. And Fletcher, did you do a survival as well?
Well, I didn't. I don't think I followed him in. I remember he asked to stealth alone, so no, I'm not there.
Okay. So yeah, you see. So Gato, you see. Well, a couple of things that sort of like are a little bit weird. One, over in this little cavern over here, there's something in there. You're not sure what it is, but there's something in there.
Right.
And then over here, well, that looks like a friggin' campfire, which is as out of place in a lava-ridden cave as anything you've ever heard of.
Yeah. Does anyone have a way for us to endure elements or protection from fire?
I
Yeah,
have
the
that.
first
Look
the
up
first thing you have to
this
deal with is
energy.
how do you get across those lava fields?
Jump.
How high are the ceilings
It
in here?
looks like a 5-foot jump, right, Les? I mean, you can just jump over them.
Yeah, I mean, at the skinny parts, yeah, you could probably jump over them. It's quite hot though. The ceilings in here are not very high, probably 12 to 15 feet. It varies, maybe 20 feet at the highest. It's a cave.
So does
Ardo
it
sent
have any protection
Peru
from fire or endure elements or anything?
Yeah.
I do not have any of that.
Let's see. That is. I can do resist energy, heat.
I can do that too. I've got a few of them.
I have that dragon scale that I lent you before that helped you resist energy. You use
Is
it
it hot
now.
enough in here that we need that, Les? Or
It's pretty warm. I mean, you find yourselves. I mean, after the chill of the desert at night, up top, down here, you're talking about it's probably 90 to 95 degrees inside this cave. So you're starting to sweat, yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's the presence of the lava. I mean, this is flowing lava, several hundred degrees. Or could be well over 1,000 degrees. That's generating a lot of this heat. But yeah, it's warm in here.
And I'm wearing a big metal steam pot.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 2 resist energies. I'll cast them on Fletcher and Flashheart.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so what did you cast?
Resist
energy.
fire.
Resist energy. Resist energy fire. Okay, cool. All right.
And does that like prevent you from getting uncomfortable in a warm spot, or does it just protect you from taking damage from a heat ray?
Both.
The second one.
I think resist energy. I mean, I think for normal heat, and this is in more or less normal heat. It does help you feel more comfortable.
For this called endure elements.
Endure elements is more specific for this type of thing.
I mean, I agree.
I'm about as far in as I want to go, guys. If anyone else wants to go in, or
Yeah, I'll come in. Where are you at, Gato? Les, I can't. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. 1 moment, please.
We send Otto in. All the way up.
wait, how flash are
Where
you
you going,
there?
Flashheart?
What's that?
There we go.
By storm.
Yeah, I was just trying to grab my guy. I have the screen too zoomed in. There we go.
Okay.
So Fletcher, if you don't have resist energy on you, maybe you let Gato and I go first, and you back us up.
But I had.
Yeah, Fletcher and Flashheart have resist energy.
How are we gonna come across this lava here?
Well, like Jennifer pointed out, it's only about 5 feet. I mean, theoretically, you could jump it. I'm gonna put red dots on you guys to notify that you guys have.
Yeah, it's 5 feet. You need a.
That's
Acrobatics
actually-
jump?
I think it's just a DC 5 for a running jump.
Step.
Is it 1 per level? Is that what it is?
Okay, hold on a
As
second.
long as you don't trip, stumble, or hit your toe.
Jumping the
It's
bear.
it's definitely an acrobatics check. So jumping and falling.
My acrobatics is 14, so if it's
Okay.
We're not even trying, probably.
15
so
or lower, I made it.
long jump, 5 feet is 5, 10 feet is 10. So you made it. So you jump across. Okay. So you find yourself over there on that other side of the lava. And it was pretty warm jumping over there, so you're not sure you want to do a ton of that. But yeah, this cave kind of goes back further. It's especially curious because now you see that there is like stuff in here. You're not sure what it is.
Did I do a perception?
Mm-hmm. It looks like a bed or a nest of some kind.
Ooh, a nest. Nice.
Well, more like a bed, but it's not like.
Something lives here.
Is it a stand-up fight or a bug hunt?
It smells like a bug.
I let everybody know I think something lives in this little cubby hole over here.
I'll send Otto over. So.
Let him suss it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving to
I'm
there
gonna
just
start
for
him
support.
right there, less, and then have him walk towards the entrance to see what he smells and hears.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
That. It's +8.
Reroll 18. So
Yeah.
What you divide you get is that it's very difficult for him to sort of engage in smells as much as he would normally do because of the smell of
High sulfur.
the high sulfur is very difficult. So it's interfering with the thing. He thinks maybe he smells something that he would characterize as person, but honestly, he's like, I can't hardly smell anything. He definitely, as he gets over here by this area, he gets a couple of different smells. So obviously the smell of person is stronger here, and that's how he would characterize as person, not monster or creature, but like this is a place where a person was. But Fletcher, as you sort of look over Otto and kind of peer in, you can see that there is a small bowl with some water in it. The whole area kind of smells a little bit of like BO and a little bit of like rotten food maybe, and you can see that there are some what look to be the remnants of some sort of like bird or something like that. It looks like whoever's been in here has been eating it raw.
But I don't see a sign of anybody being in there.
There's nobody in there.
Well, there's a sign. The sign says Gollum lives here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm gonna look up and check out the roof, Les. I'm gonna give you a perception for it in a minute.
Okay.
And tell Otto to do the same to check the roof and whatnot.
Okay.
The ceilings around us. Yikes.
While Otto's doing that, Les, I'm just going to come here and do a perception.
Okay. 21. Yeah, there's looks to be some more space back over there, but as you look over to the north, you see something very interesting which you haven't seen before. And let me describe it for you. It looks, for lack of a better term, like a crystalline coffin. It is. It looks like a big. At first, you're thinking it is some sort of like naturally occurring crystal. You're underground. You're in a tectonically active area. So you thought that this might be some sort of like stalactite or something like that. But as you look at it closer, and it's a little difficult to sort of see from here because you're kind of far away, but you can see that it is it's not a stalactite, although it does seem to be attached to the wall or the ceiling or something like that in some way. But it is more of a crystal. And what's more is it's lit from the light of the lava below. You can see that it has some sort of form inside the crystal. Now, you're not sure at this distance whether it's a person or a thing or what. It's not very big. If it's a person, it's a small person. Not a halfling, but like a small person, maybe a woman.
Flashheart, you want to join me over here?
Why, sure.
Let's see that acrobatics.
You said lady. Oh, yeah, for acrobatics. This is all part of Fletcher's plan to kill me off. Let's see. My acrobatics are about as piss poor as they could be. I have a 1.
So if you get to
I need
the
a
skinny
DC
place,
5.
you need a DC 5. You get +1, so you need a 4 or better. Here comes
Can we
a
aid
2.
him?
Can we help him?
Yeah,
but like,
can I get
toss me kind
yeah,
of thing?
dwarf toss me.
Or I can, like, it's 5 feet. I could go over there and like reach across and pull him across.
I guess you're gonna aid him. It's a skill
Bark
check. Why
him,
not?
fire him.
All right, so add +2, or is that the add? Do I add it, or I just assume it on the roll?
And plus, well, they have to do their own checks. So
Okay.
yeah,
I'll roll.
I don't have to do a check on a 5, Les.
that's true.
What did I roll?
Oh, even with 8, he barely makes it.
Oh my god.
I'm a man wearing, an entire metal suit with a
You do get
huge
across there,
sword
though.
and a shield. Traversing over lava is not my bag.
Hey, Les, as soon as they are out of the way from here, Storm's going to jump over to where they're currently at.
Okay. Now Storm is feeling the closeness here. Not only the heat, which a creature like Storm. What kind of creature is Storm again?
Eidolon?
Not a dragon.
But I think Storm is starting to feel his size in this closed environment.
Right. Well, you said the ceilings are random, but some of them can be up to 12 or 15 feet high. So.
Yep. They can be. I mean, she's all right, but I mean, if she gets there,
Like her back is probably about 6 foot tall, between 6 and 7. So
yeah, so she's a little worried that if she gets into certain areas, I'm just gonna put her over there. If she gets into certain areas that she could end up squeezing.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So you guys go over. You guys gonna go check out that fire?
So yeah, flash art. We got a fire here. We've got the person in crystal here, but we've also got an area here we haven't explored yet. What do you want to do first?
Ping the area we haven't explored yet.
Over here.
I think I want to examine. I don't think I should try to traipse over that again. I'm risking it if I try to go over, but I see a opening. Maybe you and Gato want to head over there. Otherwise, I'd say let's head over here to the fire and then the crystal, the crystal hobbit or whatever we got over here.
You and Storm head over there.
Well, no, I don't have any protection from fire necessarily, so I'm not running over there.
It's a good call. Okay, so anything at the fire list?
So interestingly, hold on a second.
You mind controlling members of the party behind our back?
Yes. So what? I'm just looking up the rules for demonic possession.
It's a flare nest. It's a flare nest.
Looking up the rules for demonic possession.
Wow. No. So you guys kind of like roll over to that fire, and it's not like a blazing fire like you have here. I'm somewhat limited on the tokens I can use, but it's more of like it's almost cold. The fire, I mean, there's just a few embers sort of like smoldering down there. It looks like little pieces of wood. The wood is very reminiscent actually of the wood that the temple is made out of. But even more interestingly, there's definitely a sort of cooking skewer suspended. I mean, there's a couple of like raw sticks that have been cut into V's and a skewer across the top, and you can see on the skewer are the remnants of 3 what look to be, from your practiced eye, rat heads, which are burnt to a crisp. They're charred and burnt. There's no rat bodies there, and frankly, your suspicion is that whatever cooked these here cooked the rats, tore off the bodies, and left the heads on the skewer.
Rookie mistake.
Bruce says that ain't right.
That ain't right.
Yeah, Baru's like, oh, this is no good.
The head's the best part.
Mom.
So, Lothar?
Yes, sir.
Did you get my message?
I did, but I am a gimp. So how exactly does one whisper back again?
/W, and then my name.
Or just tell Les and we'll pretend we didn't.
Yeah, or just, I don't know if you want to just say it out loud.
What's your name? World's okayest DM?
Yes.
GM.
Today
it might be
is.
just GM, yeah.
Just GM?
GM.
Oh, just GM will work, yeah.
Okay.
So /W space GM.
Base, whatever you want to say.
And we'll see about that.
Otto, give me a perception check.
Earlier. Yeah, and so did Farina. Yeah, good. 18 was
18.
Otto's. Go up. And
And
Farina's
Otto has scent, right?
No, he was looking up at the ceiling, looking all around, and I had a 27, but I don't think he ever got back to me. Unless this is different. You want something different? You want another one?
No, 15 is okay. Otto kind of whirls around, and he's looking back at you for some reason, and you see his nostrils are like he smells something. And you guys hear, so I think it would be Illendar, Gatto, Otto, Fletcher, definitely Lothar. You hear like this weird like laughter, like coming from like over here.
From over where?
You don't see anything like over here.
Okay.
Yeah, the area we didn't explore yet. Okay.
Yeah, great.
And Lothar, you can almost give me a perception check.
20.
You hear that same voice, and it's almost too low for anybody but you to hear it. But you hear the voice going, "I have to file nothing. I have to file nothing. But I don't know. I don't understand why he's. Why would it be mad at me? I don't understand." And it sort of like goes sort of like out of earshot in the distance in the same direction as that laugh. I don't know what he means. I don't know.
Okay.
Don't know what he means. Why is he mad? I'm not sure. Then silence.
Okay.
All right. Do I hear this list? So if we're not in initiative yet, then
You would have heard the laughter. You didn't hear any of the other stuff. You don't think?
If we're not.
Oh no,
in initiative yet,
you might you were probably paying attention to the rat heads, so you might not even heard the laughter.
All right.
Everybody else heard that
I
laughter.
heard-
But Lothar, you're the only one that heard the voice, the whisper.
Yeah, if I heard the laughter, I would have come around. You want to have me do a perception, see if I heard it?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you heard some like laughter in the back, and you're like,
a lot of it.
You're like, what in the what? And it's like very like weird laughter, like "Wah!" that kind of thing. It would hardly. I mean, honestly, you would hardly classify it as laughter. It was more like if you tickle a crazy person.
Can I come around that way and be able to traipse around the edge of this?
You can dip around your little squeeze. If you get attacked there, that'll be a problem. But
Do I see anything?
No, you don't see anything other than more lava and stuff.
Then I will pursue down to this spot right here and wait for Fletcher or Agato or anybody. I'm not.
Give me another flash art. Fletcher, give me another perception check.
Yes, sir. One coming.
Woof.
29.
Woof. All right, so you both hear it. The first thing you hear is over in this area right here. You hear what are unmistakably like the sounds, like the sandy sounds of bare feet on the ground. So it's like somebody running away. You also hear like a strange whispering, and it's Flasher. You can't make out the words, but you can definitely hear it. Sounds like somebody whispering. Fletcher, you hear it, and it's very strange. You hear something it's like, I don't know. What he's angered. I don't understand. But I didn't do that upstairs. I have nothing. There's nothing that I can do. I'm just trying to do my best here. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. You can hear this like weird whispered talk. You're not sure who he's talking to, or where the voice is coming from, but there's definitely somebody whispering either to themselves or someone else up there in that area somewhere. But you can't see anyone.
Okay, so I hope the party forgives me, but I would call out at this point, friend or Oh, make yourself known. We can hear you. We know you're there.
Okay. Hold on a second. I'm gonna see what the reaction would be to here. So, give me another perception check
For who?
for Fletcher and Flashheart.
Little less, 17.
Okay, hold on a sec. Okay, Fletcher, you got 23.
Yep.
The whispering stops and stops abruptly when you yell out. And then you hear sort of what you would recognize as the unmistakable sound of a bowstring being pulled back.
Incoming.
Incoming. I bring my shield up. Like, we got archers.
Back off to here.
Okay, so you like sort of scoot back a little bit.
I do not scoot back. I want to see where this arrow is coming from.
Okay.
But I got my sword and magic helmet.
Okay.
So do I see anything? And what's
Well,
do I have to make the same leap to get to here?
Yeah, you would.
All right, I'm gonna risk it.
You don't see anything at first, but
let
then
me go
all of a
first
sudden,
if you're going to do that.
all of a sudden you hear, "Boing!"
Okay.
And an arrow comes shooting through here and bounces off of this wall here. Can you see that?
No, where? Do it again.
So it comes basically. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong screen. Hold on a second. Basically, you see an arrow come through here and bounce off the wall there.
Okay.
Doing, and it hits that wall. It's like and falls to the ground. Okay. Fletcher, give me a perception check. So you look around. At first, you're like incoming, and then you back off a little bit. You see that arrow come through, and you see it drop to the ground. You look at the arrow, and the first thing you think of is that's barely an arrow. You look at it, and it's the shaft is all sort of like twisted, and it looks like it has like a flint-knapped rock on the front of it. Like this is the homemadest of homemade arrows.
All right, then I will cross the lava and come over to here.
All right, so you jump over. Did you roll a 0 on your acrobatics check?
I can't roll a 0, and even if I did, I'd still have a 18.
Even a 0 would put you over there. All right, so you jump over there. You don't see anything.
You want to support me, and I'll jump over too.
Yeah, I'll help Flashheart to come over. Get yourself an extra +2. Flash.
Here we go. Whew. Made it.
Woo-hoo. With style this time.
Yeah.
I'll just move out of your way. So
I do the Matrix land on one knee, all cool. Okay.
All right, what were you saying we see last?
Superhero landing. Superhero landing.
Yeah, superhero landing. Fist to the ground.
I'm going to send Otto over. He's got like a +18 or something less. But I'm going to send him over here. What is it, 5 to jump over?
So, Fletcher, Flashheart, give me a quick perception check.
Yeah.
One moment, please.
And Otto, perception check too.
I gouge myself in the eye.
Ow!
Listen, do you smell something?
Lothar, get out of the lava.
Sorry, I didn't do the alt thing, I guess. Hang on.
So Otto can what Otto would say is the smell of person is stronger here. Flashheart, you don't hear it, but Fletcher, you hear what sounds like somebody crying, sobbing.
Hey,
like that hitch of
a free action. As a free action, I say, Fletcher, whenever we see this thing, let me detect evil on it first.
You might want to try to detect evil anyway. I have a
do I
invisible.
Yeah. Do I have
on the roof?
Do we have a good idea of where this sound's coming from, Les?
You didn't hear it. Fletcher was like,
Okay.
it's down that way.
That's right. I gouged
heard it.
myself.
So I would let him know. But does it sound like it's on the ground or in the air?
The ground.
Okay. And I think we might have something invisible.
And something invisible that can fire arrows? Wouldn't that, unless they have
Wouldn't call
greater
those
visibility?
arrows.
Out of
I mean
that 23 list. Out of that 23.
23 to so Otto smells person, much stronger here. Not sure where though. Sort of.
Do I hear anything though?
Well, yeah, you would hear that sort of sobbing noise.
From where?
Sort of like over here-ish.
Dun 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 dun.
I'm gonna send Otto that direction. Less stealthy. Intentionally.
So Otto only takes a couple of steps, and even before he gets to where he is, suddenly in front of him, a person appears just out of the no, and he's kneeling down. He has a bow in his hand. He's in ragged clothing, tears streaming down his eyes, his face, and he's audibly sobbing, and he's like, "Stop, cat! I have done nothing to you.
I detect evil.
What have I done? What have I done here?" And the bow falls to the ground, and you can see that this guy it's a dude. He is emaciated. It doesn't look like he's eaten very well. There's his skin is pulled back. He used to be, obviously, you think, quite a handsome human. But now he's, his clothes are in rags. He's not wearing any shoes. But you definitely see something on him that you recognize, which is around his neck is a small silver token of a longbow, which you recognize because you've seen it before. You've seen it on both arms. It is the symbol of Erastil. In this case, however, his is covered with this thing that around his neck is covered with what looks to be some sort of dry, flaky, red kind of stuff.
Like brownish red?
Yeah, kind of like brownish red stuff. But he's just kneeling there, sobbing.
I'm going to have Otto herd him down towards Flashheart and Fletcher with snarls and soft prods.
Get away from me, cat!
What's that?
And you see him sort of stand up and back away. He's like, what is this thing? Stay back! Stay back from me!
Fletcher, have you detected evil yet?
I cast detect evil. I'm pretty sure we're gonna find he's not evil, just cray. But
so
I
Otto keeps coming.
I'm hurting him. Otto's not biting. Otto is hurting him.
So he's in that back corner and he's looking at Otto and he's like, "Get away! Get away, creature! Get away, or I will make you go."
Yeah, why don't you hold off on hurting him?
And you can see sort of like this. And when you can see this sort of like look in his eyes, this crazed look in his eyes. The rest of you can't see it, but he's definitely, something's about to happen.
Otto will take a 5-foot step back. And I'm gonna tell the guy something's going on. This is not what this looks to be, and now's your chance. Can I get? I could probably get a shot off, right? If I get here.
I want to detect evil first before you shoot the guy.
Well, he's sort of around the corner from you. I don't know if you could detect.
I probably can't.
Yeah, I'm gonna come around the corner, Les.
All right, so you're gonna come around that edge there, that little this little spot, and do detect evil.
Yeah. Hi. How are we today?
You see him sort of look over. He's like, "Who are you? You're not supposed to be here."
Just stopping by. We're making a call. He was very calm voice, in my very paladin calm voice. I see you might be a fellow holy man. What's up?
don't deserve to be a holy man anymore. Ah!
Paging
if you
Dr.
do-
Lothar.
If you do detect evil on him,
Yep.
you can see that. Okay, this is a very weird sort of thing. You can see that he is not evil, but inside his head is like a baseball-sized core of evil that's radiating outward from his head. It's inside his brain.
Infection or something. Okay, interesting. So
You see, he's like, right now, he's like, he's mumbling to himself and whispering to himself. You know, he's sort of backed up against the wall, you know, and every once in a while he kind of like looks around. Stay back! Stay back!
Do I have any idea that they've trapped him?
You would probably hear them. I mean, you could probably hear him yelling, "Stay back! Stay back!" You would recognize it's the same voice that you hear.
Right.
It's the guy.
So as a free action, I'm going to call to them and ask them to let him come to me.
sure, I'll sheathe my sword and make sure I where are you at, Lothar? Where are you at?
I'm on the other side of the lava because if I try to jump, it's going to go badly.
Okay, I'll step out of the way over here by Fletcher and say, hey, Dr. Bartos is on his way.
And
Dr.
then
Lothar's on his way. Sorry.
I'm going to reiterate the mental thing that I sent him just a second ago.
Okay, which
It's in your private message.
Okay, hold on.
Ooh, your private messages.
Okay, got it. You can see him sort of like looking around, and Otto is like, something's wrong with this dude. But you see him sort of like, the first thing he does is like, he'll like run across to here, and he throws his back up against the wall, and he looks at Fletcher. He's like, who are you? What are elves doing here? Elves don't belong here in the Worldwound. Go down. Go away.
The official declaration is this boy's cheese done slid off his cracker.
Yeah.
But I'm going to continue to try to call him to me. Tell him that those people are not a danger to him and that he needs to come to me. I'm near the entrance.
Hey,
is that the Aristotelian? Is that him? He's looking at you, Fletcher. He's like, is that him?
That him? Who? What?
Is that the Aristotelian calling to me?
No. I believe.
I'm being tricked?
No, he's just farther out of your eyesight. Just around the corner, my friend.
I do not like to be tricked.
Okay.
As Bartos is interested in the crystal, what can he do knowledge check-wise to try to figure out what that is?
You want to do knowledge arcana, maybe?
Knowledge arcana? Okay.
So he takes a step forward, and all he sees are Fletcher and Flashheart and Farina. Farina's in that area there. He's like, none of you should be here. None of you should be here. Why are you here? And where is the Aristotelian? He doesn't exist. This is a trick. This is a trick.
He's at the entrance. We will get out of your way. Do you want to go past us, or do you want us to back up?
I want you to leave. You should not be here. This is a place of evil.
Place of what?
This is a place of evil. You should not be here. This is a bad
Understood.
place.
Yep, sir feels that way.
I am defending you from it. You will just be destroyed by it if you stay. You should go. Go now. Go now.
I think we need to get out of his way, Flash. I think you're out of there. I'm going to get the other side of the lava and go over here.
Yeah. I don't want to risk jumping over the lava in real time, so I'm going to stand
maybe
right
he'll
here.
You're just going to back up over this thing? What about you, Farina? Honestly, Farina, you're the one that's in like his direct way, and he's very reluctant to go anywhere near you.
Farina?
Honestly, I don't know what to do with it. I'm not the most social of creatures.
So just move over.
So you just move over. So
Yeah.
you see him sort of like, he's kind of like looking around, and then he's like, with his back up against the wall, he moves like a 5 foot and then another 5 foot, and you can see him. He's like, kind of like, it's almost like he's smashing himself up against the walls as deep as he can as he passes by you guys. And Farina, he whispers to you as he passes by, he says, "You should go now. If you want to live, she's here. She knows that you're here."
I'm going to share that with Flash.
And he goes to the lava, and you see him very deftly jump over the lava. He kind of like twists in midair when he sees Fletcher, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And then he looks right at Lothar, and he says, "You've come to the wrong place, brother. You need to not be here. No one from Erastil should be here. No one. No one. The temple is desecrated. It's gone. You should go. You should go, brother. You should go now."
I'm going to step back to make a place for him and still tell him to come to me.
He begins looking towards you, and he begins stepping towards you, and then you see his face kind of go like this. He twists around. He's looking to the north, and he looks to Fletcher, and he looks back to Lothar, and he says, "She's here." In a very strangely calm voice, "She's here."
Ooh.
And it's 11:05, so we're going to stop there.
Cliffhanger.
And next, in 2 weeks, we will revisit here at She's Here.
No, next week is B team, right?
Next week is B team, right? We are on the new schedule. So A, B, A, C. Next week is B team. The week after that, A, and then C team at the end of the month.
Okay,
Nice.
see you guys.
All
Night,
right.
all.
Night, everybody.
All right,
Thank you guys. This was awesome.
Night, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
see ya.
Les.
You
Thanks,
bet.
Les. Woof.